Today at City Hall, the mayor's 2019 spending plan will not have any tax increases. It will include a nickel a ride increase in ride-sharing fees for the CTA and another installment of a surcharge or a tax tacked on to water and sewer bills for pensions. Emanuel's not seeking re-election next year. Meantime, the local Chicago artist Chance the Rapper is lending his support to activist Amara Enya in a race for Chicago mayor. The artist endorsed the little-known candidate yesterday at City Hall.
We ask Chicagoans of all walks of life to join Chance and I over the coming weeks and the coming months as we work on your behalf to create the Chicago that we all deserve.
But Chance's choice is a whole lot different than his father, Ken Bennett, who was chairman of Tony Preckwinkle's campaign for mayor. A new quarterly report by the Chicago Office of the Inspector General reveals a list of poor behavior by city employees. Transgressions include sexual misconduct, criminal theft, and disclosure of sensitive information by a police communications officer at Chicago's 911 Emergency Dispatch Center. In one case, an employee with the Department of Fleet and Facilities Management was discovered recording inappropriate videos of himself while on duty at a city facility and then sending them to a teen he met on Facebook. 5:04 on AM 560, The Answer, and other stories we're following this morning. Newly released footage shows an off-duty Chicago police officer shooting an unarmed autistic man last year on the far south side. A civilian police Office of Accountability organization released a series of videos yesterday of Sergeant Khalil Muhammad firing from his vehicle at Ricardo Hayes in August of 2017 near 109th Place and Hermosa. Hayes was treated and released from the hospital. That officer was placed on desk duty. New this morning, detectives are looking into whether foul play played a factor into the disappearance of a pregnant mail carrier on Chicago's South Side. Chicago PD and U.S. Postal Inspection Service launching a joint investigation to try and find Kiera Coles. A man is accused of shooting and killing his great-grandmother and wounding his aunt on Chicago's South Side. Letwan Taylor is charged with first-degree murder in the Monday death of Valoria Taylor near 70th and Prairie. Former gymnastics coach is accused of sexually abusing a girl he trained in Channahon. Prosecutors say Jose Vilches abused that girl in late 2012 or 2013 when he was coaching at I&M Gymnastics. Vilches was arrested this week at a Walmart in Joliet where he was working. A coroner says bones discovered outside of a church in Gary, Indiana, were human. Lake County Coroner Marilee Fry confirming the human nature of the bones discovered outside of the Christ Temple Community Church. Age, race, sex of that deceased person unknown. Gary Police Commander Jack Hamady tells the Northwest Indiana Times a skull was also found outside of the church. If you look carefully this week, you will see that the Bulls have a company logo on their jerseys this season for the first time in franchise history. Chicago announcing a 5-year partnership yesterday with Zenni Optical. The deal makes the online eyewear company the first ever jersey patch sponsor of the Bulls. And we're keeping an eye on a story that's developing in Champaign this morning. Apparently, the University of Illinois is inching closer to a new mascot. It won't be Chief Alanowick or anything close to the chief, but the school's campus senate voted this week to start the process of getting a new mascot. U of I retired the chief back in 2011 under pressure from lawmakers in Springfield and a few activists on campus. Boston says it can claim bragging rights for the best pizzeria in the nation. According to TripAdvisor, Boston's Regina Pizzeria in the #1 spot for America's favorite food. New York City's Bleecker Street Pizza dropped to second place on this year's list of top 10 pizza joints. Moderna Pizza in New Haven, Connecticut. Home Slice Pizza in Austin, Texas. And Moose Tooth Pub and Pizzeria in Anchorage, Alaska round out the top 5. After that bit of fake news, New York still tops the list of all-around best pizza cities, according to the list. followed by Chicago. Blackhawks will host the Coyotes tomorrow night. Goalie Corey Crawford could make his season debut. Bulls begin the regular season tomorrow night on the road against the Sixers. Cody Bellinger singles in the winning run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 13th. Dodgers outlast the Brewers in Game 4 in Los Angeles. Red Sox, a couple of wins away from a trip to the World Series again. They pulled away late to beat the Astros 8-2 in Game 3 of the ALCS. The Cubs are losing a key member of their front office. Jason McLeod likely will take the Giants' vacant general manager's job. He currently is the Cubs' senior vice president of player development and amateur scouting. The News is a service of Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA is a national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, parents, students visit PCADevZone.org. 5:08 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America and by Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
If you're like most people and you see 2 gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of Medi-Share, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why Medi-Share is so popular. Go to Medi-Share.com or call *228. That's *228. Message and data rates may apply. Call *228.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
It is 5:11. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's northwest side, a crash is reported on Addison at Laverne. The Eden's looking good right now. The Kennedy as well. Overnight work wrapping up. No delays to report on the Eisenhower at Stevenson. Ryan is fine inbound. Outbound there is road work. 87th to split. 3 left lanes. I-57 tight Holstead to the merge. 16 minutes. I-80 to Ryan. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes. Roadwork delay, 111th to 103rd. No problems to report right now on the area tollways. I-80, overnight work is wrapping up westbound Richards to Larkin. No problems to report eastbound. Right now the roads are looking good in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist this morning, Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly sunny and breezy, high 55. Tonight clear to partly cloudy and chilly, freezing temperatures in some colder spots, low 36. Breezy tomorrow with a full day of sunshine, high 48. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
45 at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. It is 43 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update, 5:30, breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Madigan runs the Democratic House floor.
This is climbing the charts. Our friend Strange Tim O'Donnell, our in-house Weird Al knockoff, I guess.
He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois.
I could listen to that all day.
Never keep up with the taxes.
Yeah, we're going to turn Tim O'Donnell into a star. Remember, he's got a Tiny Dancer parody song forthcoming, so you're going to want to stay tuned into this show.
And he's going to come in studio for that, too?
Of course.
Because you can sound pitchy on AM radio, and he sounds really good.
Yeah, we worked out the acoustics in here. We brought in the lyric opera people.
Did you? I mean, because you have to, because, this room could use some soundproofing.
Yeah, there's no question.
Sound tiles, but he did a great job.
Well, he's a good singer,
What's his,
this is like, he's like our Susan Boyle.
No, but what's his musical background?
He's construction work.
Well,
Project manager.
Is he in a band? I mean, clearly he's been trained.
I don't know. I'm
Maybe
representing
a shower
though. I take 10% of whatever he makes at weddings and bar mitzvahs that he books after his appearance on our show.
This is so good.
All right, we got to switch gears. It's been a tough 24 hours for prostitution. First, Stormy Daniels has her lawsuit dismissed, and then Dennis Hoff passes away. I know that's close to your heart because you once talked to him.
Well, I don't know what it was. I think Mancow was behind this, but he had Dennis Hoff from the Bunny Ranch call the show. And I was working with John Hall at the time, and we kept seeing Dennis Hoff Bunny Ranch on Line 1. Like, why is he talking about Illinois taxes? Why does Dennis Hoff care about what's going on in Illinois?
Oh, he was a Republican.
I know,
allegedly.
but allegedly. This is about 6 years ago, and we could not stop. So we took Dennis Hoff from the Bunny Ranch, and he said, I was told to call in for this to promote the business.
And now Dennis Hoff has been taken from us. Oh, to promote the business. Your wrong address, Mr. Hoff.
Well, do you know you're calling into a conservative radio station in Chicago?
Yeah.
This isn't the Morning Zoo Crew.
No. So Dennis Hoff was found the way that we'd all like to be found, by Ron Jeremy, after a night of partying with Heidi Fleiss.
Oh, hey. No, how was he found?
He was found unresponsive, but that's who found him. He was found by Ron Jeremy after a night of partying with Heidi Weiss. Remember, Heidi Fleiss. Heidi Fleiss is the madam, but that was his partner. It was the pimp and the madam. Yeah.
So who do you think killed him, or was it natural causes, or maybe it was Heidi Fleiss?
Yeah, right. 72-year-old, overweight. God only knows what else he putting into his system in addition to grease.
So, you say he went to sleep last night and he didn't wake up.
Yeah. So and then the long-running saga. Gosh, I gotta. After I saw this Twitter exchange between President Trump and Stormy Daniels, I gotta wonder, boy, maybe Melania needs to come back from Africa and tell her husband to stop engaging Stormy Daniels. I don't know where that goes or how that's productive in any way, but President Trump celebrating the dismissal of the lawsuit against him by Avenatti, Daniels and company,
And it began with the name calling, and then that begat more name calling, and that became a story.
Well, he called her a horse face. You guys that is too soon.
That's the sound effect he attached.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't, just leave well enough alone. He won the defamation suit. The judge even said she might have to pay your attorney fees. And he went to stoop to a low level and call her a horse face. Now,
couldn't he have just said, hey, Stormy, why the long face? Is it because your lawsuit was dismissed?
Okay, that is...
That would have been a little bit more subtle.
And he used the same words that in the tweet about it. It was a total con job. That's what started the whole defamation suit. Anyway...
And then Stormy responded by going below the belt.
She did. I do have it in front of you. I'm so unprepared.
She called him tiny.
She did. She said that he's a tiny man. She insulted the heathen region. And that's a problem. See, here's the thing. And then Sean from Elmwood Park, who's obviously a good friend of the show, or I don't know what you want to call him.
He's a listener.
A listener, yeah.
Sometimes caller.
Doing a victory lap yesterday. 'Cause I'm the one who coined her horse face. I was me. It's nothing to be proud of. It's so stupid. It's juvenile. Don't, succumb to that. Who cares? The horse face. Let's not, name call here.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. Because I actually think Stormy Daniels is beautiful.
Young Frankenstein. I like this.
Well, she's gorgeous, Stormy Daniels. I think she's beautiful. I think she's Megyn Kelly with the little bonus rounds, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. Do you think she is...
Are they real? I don't know.
More or less stunning than Michelle Obama, who you also find
Michelle
ravenous?
Obama is gorgeous. I would, if it's Stormy Daniels, Michelle Obama, I need some help. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA. Type in a quick message. I think...
Yeah, you do need help.
I do.
By
maybe
asking that question.
Stormy Daniels is a little bit more attractive. They're both beautiful in their own ways.
No, as is every woman. As is every person.
But this is a woman who just went on with Don Lemon and said, I shouldn't have body shamed President Trump by describing his junk as a Mario Kart character.
There's his junk.
And
his junk has a sound effect just like her face does.
Oh, hey. And so then she gets out and calls him tiny, which is the lowest of blows, if you know what I mean.
Scott Adams,
knows firsthand.
the Dilbert cartoon creator, Scott Adams had a question he posted on Twitter. Who do you think has more Native American DNA in them, Elizabeth Warren or Stormy Daniels? Oh, Scott. Oh, no. No, stop. All right, on to serious topics after this.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have a big decision to make. Thankfully, we live in this great country and get to exercise our right to vote and elect the person we think will be best for our family's futures.
Craig, it sounds like you're asking listeners to vote for us.
Listen, you can't control market unpredictability, but you can choose to ride out the highs and lows with Wealth Management Group at your side.
When making any big decisions concerning your financial future, choose us, Wealth Management Group, and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere, like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association.
This is Nicole Wolter, president of HM Manufacturing in Wakanda. Today's high-tech manufacturing is leading an economic resurgence nationwide. To help our manufacturers thrive, Washington is actively enacting policies to encourage growth. Yet here in Illinois, politicians are doing everything they can to slow manufacturing. Policymakers in Springfield, Chicago, Cook County, and even some of our municipalities are relentlessly pursuing an anti-manufacturing agenda, imposing stricter regulations and higher costs on our makers and job creators. With the election coming up on November 6th, support candidates who pledge to make manufacturing a priority. Choose candidates who understand that increasing costs and regulations for manufacturing hurts all of us because it hurts our economy.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
Before you hit the snow, you gotta hit the show. It's the Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show, the Midwest's premier show, going on this weekend, October 19th through the 21st at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Save up to 70% off retail on over $1 million of clothing, gear, and accessories in a super sale area. Kids skis and bindings starting at $59. See the latest products from Salomon, Never Summers, Resignol, Libtech, Technica, Dynastar, Nordica, and more. Ski resorts reps from Telluride, Icon Pass, Alpine Valley, Wilmot Mountain, Crystal Mountain, Grand Geneva, Ski Brule, Cascade, and more. Kids under 12 are free, plus free parking. Buy tickets online at WindyCitySkiAndSnowboardShow.com. Paid admission includes a free lift ticket at Ski Brule and 2-for-1 lift tickets at Alpine Valley and Crystal Mountain. Restrictions apply. See website for details. It's all happening this weekend, October 19th through the 21st. The Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show at the Schaumburg Convention Center. See you there.
AM 560, The
The tweet that she said was, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you get it? You get Justin's little commentary there? It's a horse face with no name. But the horse face does have a name. It's Stormy.
And Stormy tweeted, ladies and gentlemen, may I present your president, which it's a proper noun. She should have it capitalized. Anyway, in addition to his shortcomings, he has demonstrated his incompetence, hatred of women, and lack of self-control on Twitter again, and perhaps a penchant for bestiality. Game on, Tiny.
Okay.
These two little crazy kids.
I think they should do a 50 Shades of Grey remake. Ed and Oakbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big fan of Michelle Obama, but I'll tell you what, putting her in the same sentence with Stormy Daniels is just wrong.
Wow.
Where Michelle Obama has some class and dignity, Stormy Daniels nothing. Now, if you would have said Kamala Harris and Stormy Daniels, I would entertain that video.
All right.
Well, no,
day.
Stormy
All right,
Daniels
thanks,
beats
Ed.
her hands down.
Well, we were just comparing because I was asking Amy her perspective because she thinks both Stormy Daniels and Michelle Obama are stunning.
They are
ravenous.
No, they
gorgeous.
She is.
Yeah.
And so is Stormy. Oh my God. And she's not a horse face. Come on, stop it, Trump.
Of course not. She's an actress.
She's made more movies than you.
She has. That's right. And she's made many more movies of a certain genre than I will ever
see,
even
yes.
entertain to make.
Okay.
Much less see. So somebody else, Mike Scott, of course, reported on yesterday, passed away the other day. And I don't think he's getting sort of the recognition he deserves. And so Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft, there's a wonderful write-up on Paul Allen by his business partner, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah.
In The Atlantic. He writes, among other things, he met Paul Allen when he was in 7th grade. I looked up to him right away. He was 2 years ahead of me in school, really tall, proved to be a genius with computers. Yeah, we've heard. We started hanging out together, especially once the first computer arrived at our school. We spent just about all our free time messing around with any computer we could get our hands on. And it was, in fact, Paul who went to Bill when he was in college. Paul was not, but they were both living in the Boston area. He was working, Paul Allen was. And he said there was cover January issue of Popular Electronics in 1974. It featured a new computer called the Altair 8800, which ran on a powerful new chip. Paul came to him and said, "This is happening without us. That's the moment that marked the end of my college career, the beginning of our new company, Microsoft. It happened because of Paul. Microsoft would have never happened without Paul Allen." He also goes on to write his personal account. Paul was cooler than I was. Low bar, Bill, but okay. Into Jimi Hendrix as a teenager. I remember him playing Are You Experienced for me. I wasn't experienced at much of anything back then, and Paul wanted to share this amazing music with me. That's the kind of person he was. He loved life and the people around him, and it showed. When I think about Paul, I remember a passionate man who held his family and friends dear. I also remember a brilliant technologist and philanthropist who wanted to accomplish great things and did. So, marking on the passing of somebody who was a seminal figure in sports because he owned the Blazers.
Right, and Seattle Seahawks.
Right, and
Russell Wilson put out a beautiful tweet about him, about how caring he was, and he was an approachable manager, or owner, and I just thought that was great. I love the last line, Paul deserved more time in life. He would have made the most of it, and I will miss him tremendously.
So, seminal innovator in, obviously, with Microsoft, sports, philanthropy. He actually underwrote the music museum, the Rock and Roll Museum that they've got in Seattle.
Have you ever been to that?
I have.
I like it. It's pretty cool.
It's a wild building too.
Yeah.
It's really sort of free form. It's pretty interesting. So anyway, Paul Allen passes away at 65, which is pretty young these days, particularly for somebody in his stratosphere. And it was cancer that came back that had been in remission for 9 years. So it's sad to see his passing, but it shouldn't go unremarked upon his life, and I'm glad Bill Gates wrote this personal piece.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The other sparring going on, in addition to President Trump and Stormy Daniels, of course, President Trump and the nation's leading wannabe Native American, Elizabeth Warren. We'll pick that up at 5:38.
And later, ABC executives having second thoughts about firing Roseanne. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Fair skies and 45 degrees, 5:30. Hundreds are still missing this morning, a week after the Florida Panhandle was wrecked by Hurricane Michael. The death toll currently at 29 officially, but more than 1,100 people in Florida have not yet been accounted for. Most of the missing are from Panama City, where the Category 4 storm laid waste and left massive devastation. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Ankara, Turkey, where he and the president of that country, Erdogan, met today to discuss the disappearance of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Meantime, Pompeo said the leaders of Saudi Arabia are committed to conducting a thorough and transparent investigation after meetings with Saudi leadership yesterday. Two of the officers wounded in the police ambush in Florence, South Carolina earlier this month are still in critical condition. Police held a news conference yesterday offering new details in that case. 7 police officers were shot in an ambush after arriving at a home for a pre-arranged interview and the execution of a search warrant. Traditionally, candidates wait until after midterm elections before announcing that they're running for president. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro is not waiting. He's saying he likely will run in 2020. Meantime, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren is being mocked for her DNA test intended to support her claim of having some Native American ancestry. Now, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is making fun of the test, saying he probably is more Native American than Warren. The Mega Millions jackpot is soaring. No one claimed the main prize Wednesday at $868 million. Now the second largest lotto jackpot in U.S. history. People are legally buying marijuana in Canada this morning. The U.S. northern neighbor, the first G7 nation to fully legalize recreational marijuana. The law went into effect again at midnight in each of Canada's time zones. The campaign for Illinois governor and candidate J.B. Pritzker is being accused of racial discrimination and harassment. A suit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court claims the vast majority of Black and Latino campaign workers are herded into race-specific positions. Mayor Emanuel will deliver his final budget address today at Chicago's City Hall. Detectives are looking into whether foul play played a factor in the disappearance of a pregnant mail carrier on Chicago's South Side. A joint investigation has been launched to find new details in the disappearance of Kiera Coles. Blackhawks will host the Coyotes tomorrow night. Goalie Corey Crawford could make his season debut. The Bulls begin the regular season tomorrow night on the road against the Sixers. NLCS action last night in 13. The Dodgers outlast the Brewers 2-1. Red Sox beat the Astros in the ALCS 8-2. 5:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher warns it's not time to rest on our laurels.
Judge Kavanaugh, and in particular President Trump, won the battle with Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation. The last thing you can do now is breathe a sigh of relief and say, good, we got this major battle won. We don't need to go to the polls in a few weeks. We can stay home.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business away. Pavement Solutions can get your parking lot in shape. With proper care, you can extend the life of your current lot with Pavement Solutions' certified specialty blend product called GemSeal Black Diamond Enduramax. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the best seal coat product in the industry. It'll protect your lot from sub-zero temperatures to a scorching 110-degree sun and features an abrasive, non-slip coat for safety and durability. With Enduramax, your lot will have that brand new feel and look at a fraction of the price of a new lot. You and your customers will be safe, and your business will look great. For parking lot repairs to snow removal, go to fixmylots.org. That's fixmylots.org. And get a free estimate. Plus, learn about getting 5% off your next job from Pavement Solutions.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com as someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
It is 5:36. Let's get an update on the morning roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
On the Edens Expressway, traffic is moving well right now. It's 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy still looks okay. Inbound traffic starting to build around O'Hare. On Eisenhower, traffic is a little bit sluggish. Area between 17th and Des Plaines Avenue. No more than a 1 or 2 minute delay. Inbound Stevenson, slow from Brown Central to Kedzie. 36 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Orion, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays starting around Cermak. I-57 just a bit tight approaching the merge. Bishop Ford. Roadwork delays for 115th Stony Island feeder. 22 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. No delays to report right now on the tollways or in northwest Indiana. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, breezy, chilly, plenty of sunshine. High near 50. We're at 45 right now. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the spillage from Elizabeth Warren and President Trump's sparring spilled over into yesterday after President Trump reacting to her DNA test, which found that she has as much as half as much Native American ancestry as every white European American walking around in the country.
Cherokee people, Cherokee tribe.
Yeah. And the internet memes keep getting better, too.
Oh, are they? What's your favorite one?
The Jeep Cherokee.
Oh.
You know, my Jeep is
Jeep's
more Cherokee than Elizabeth Warren, and also
So-
something I'm getting rid of my Jeep Cherokee because it's
Excuse
white and it claims it's a Cherokee, and it's a picture of a white Jeep. I like that.
That's a good one. I like that one. I've seen a lot of them, but those are my favorite too. That's good.
Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, just sitting here thinking I should buy a horse and name it Stormy Daniels, and you know get some
And
fame out of that.
And you can buy a Shetland pony and name it Rom.
Right. you know, what people fail to realize, Trump has a PhD in politics. He's been around politicians his whole life. He's had to deal with them. He's studied them. He knows every move. And everybody that goes up against him, they get dirty. If he's dirty, they get dirty. You know, it's like
but he's the president.
recognizing a guy in a house of ill repute. You can't tell anybody. You know, he's amazing how he's able to just make these people seem crazy. I mean, who wants to vote for people that are just out of their minds, attacking other people? Nobody does.
Well,
and
unless his name's Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the American male, a lot of them secretly admire him for his lifestyle, and he's got that vote.
All right. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
but
call,
I mean,
Jim.
and just bump it up a little. And this, it's such a, schoolyard name calling contest that it just seems rudimentary and juvenile to me. And I just think he could be a little better than that. You won, President Trump. You beat her in court. That should
We're not talking about Stormy anymore. Stormy's a separate issue. Elizabeth Warren.
Okay, Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren is a different matter because she has just exposed herself and the D.C. press corps, by extension, as liars. Liars. The test that she took, John Hinraker has a good piece on this, though, why this is good for America, and this is sort of where I'm going. Warren's defense, he writes, does Hindraker, of her claim of being Native American is good for America because if Warren's an Indian, then most of the rest of us are too, and most of us are also African American or Hispanic. If everyone is an Indian, then no one is an Indian. The logic is fatal to the whole corrupt affirmative action enterprise, and I would add, as an addendum, identity politics that the left plays. Right? So it turns out that what does any of this matter? Nothing. But they place so much importance on it. Is that who you want to affiliate with? Is that sort of the philosophy you want to seep into every corner of our culture? Do you care what percentage Native American Elizabeth Warren is, or the guy next door, or the woman you work with? Does
it going to matter the way she does her job?
Of course not.
Of course it doesn't.
Right. And so this is the point.
She wants to be down with the struggle, Dan. She wants to be part of the minority.
I understand, but it exposes the intellectual vacuity of the left, and this is their central theme. This is all they have. And Elizabeth Warren is undermining it. Oh, and by the way, so is America, just in terms of what's happening on a daily basis. I go back, as Hindraker did, to remind people about our friend Eli Steele and his excellent documentary about his son and about identity politics.
How box you should mark when you're enrolling them in school.
How Jack became black. If you haven't seen How Jack Became Black, you should see it. How our America is getting more and more multiracial as people with different racial compositions get together and have families. And so who cares? And Elizabeth Warren cares so much, and we don't.
But also, too, if you're a minority, you're not a minority anymore. I mean, everybody has it's mixed families. Honestly, I mean, I do. I gave birth to 2 Puerto Ricans.
Well, right.
Still paying for it.
But that's sort of the point. If the threshold is 1,024th Native American is your identity in some material way, then you're right. We're all everything.
We are.
So it just takes that off the table. Then how do you continue to count by race? You can't really.
You can't.
Good. You have to make judgments based on performance and skill sets. What a concept. Mike in Crown Point, Indiana.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. What Trump's opponents don't realize is that they throw mud at him, and there's an old saying about, arguing with President Trump is like wrestling with a pig in the mud. After a while, you realize the pig likes it.
Right. Yeah, you both get dirty, except the pig likes it. Exactly. Thanks for the call, Mike. Robert in Oak Brook.
Morning, kids. I think Donald Trump should end this and give her a check for what did you say, 1/100,000th of a 24, whatever. Take
Right.
that out of the $1 million that he was going to send her.
Right. Send her a
Write
check
a
for
nice big check and
$915.
give her the percentage that she's due with the bet.
Yeah.
So what's 1/100,000th of a 24th out of $1 million, and hand her a nice check.
And Dan knows the total. What is it?
There you go. It's like $917 or something. Thanks for
There
the
you
call.
go.
Thanks for the call, Robert. Appreciate
Well, you
it.
did that just like
Yeah. It's a gift. And also, he should continue to encourage, and that check, I guess, would continue to encourage her to run for president because
she is still going to run for president.
she's thinking about it.
Oh, does she have an exploratory committee?
No, she's just thinking about it. She'll get back to you in her.
Yeah, so she
due
wanted to
time.
get this out of the way now.
She needs to talk to
and
the
then-
tribal leaders about
to see if
this
they'll support her
this
or do a
important
crowd
decision.
warm up for her when she's on the road.
Yesterday on Fox and Friends, Mark Wayne Mullen, who's a Republican congressman from Oklahoma, who's actually a certified member, he and his family, of Cherokee Nation, he had this to say about Elizabeth Warren.
There was a 2014 study, a scientific study, and they said the average European American walking around is 0.18% Native American. She's half of that. So the idea that she continues to double down on this lie is the most disgusting thing to me. It's the fact that she's in the public eye and she continues to use this. And what she was trying to do was put this to bed so she could run against President Trump in 2020. And it is backfiring on her. And I'm glad to see it because what she needs to do is come out and apologize to all of us.
Yeah, don't hold your breath waiting for that apology. But
Well, she's a fraud.
Well,
I mean,
right.
it's fraudulent behavior to say you're part of a group just to, try and get votes, try to be, a star in the Democratic Party, try to be the next Democratic president.
But
So if
I-
I was a Cherokee, if I was a Cherokee Indian, I'd be pretty upset right now.
Well, they are, and they're not being quiet about it, and good for them. And Mark Wayne Mullen is right about this, the doubling down. I mean, it's one thing to, try to justify this to yourself or to justify it, to use this to justify your previous conduct and the previous descriptions of you in the Harvard faculty circular and whatnot. It's another thing to double down and prosecute things as some kind of attribute. Or attempting to gaslight people with respect to your ancestry and the importance of your ancestry.
Well, it was a
and
lie
so
that
the
kept
more that
going.
she pushes this, the
Yes.
worse it's going to get for her.
But, I mean, that's what catapulted her to the position at Harvard, was because of her alleged Native American ancestry. Well, it's true because they needed to hire minority females, and they saw this, she come across and went, oh, she checked all the boxes. Let's bring her in.
And ironically, Elizabeth Warren, the woman of color, first tenured law professor, female of color at Harvard Law, she may be the undoing of Harvard Law's counting by race, as they're in court right now facing a discrimination suit by Asian American groups to discriminate against Asian American students and applicants, which Harvard and the other Ivy League schools absolutely do. And so,
And it's wrong
wouldn't
'cause
that
they're
be
Asian Americans. These aren't people coming from Asia. These are people born in America. It's a new form of discrimination.
Wouldn't it be just delightful if Elizabeth Warren helps to undo this counting by race nonsense and the Ivy League and everywhere else?
Let's see, what Native American activity should we do? Making wallets, baking crop circles, respecting nature. Jeez, no wonder these guys lost the Civil War.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, CPA.com.
You know, our Jimmy John's new 9-grain wheat sub has the perfect amount of grains.
Freak, yeah, it does. Any less it'd be grain lacking. Any more it'd be obnoxious.
9 grains. It's just so confident. I mean, it says I'm high quality, I'm substantial, I'm flavorful, but I don't have to prove myself to anyone.
This 9-grain wheat sub is practically an inspirational poster.
I want to possess the character and depth of this 9-grain wheat sub.
You guys talking about being that 9-grain wheat sub again?
Try our new 9-grain wheat sub, Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Picture your son after his first year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive? He commits to do the right thing because it's the right thing, because he's strong enough to do it? It's Dan Proft, and I know Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At the open house this Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois. Their academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventure of boyhood. Hall Fests, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make Northridge Prep a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys grades 6 through 12. Their rigorous curriculum produces men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model, and 50% of the faculty attended a top 20 university. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. To learn more and register online, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
If you maintain an industrial plant, you know your dust collection systems are a vital part of the operation of your plant. Without them, things can get dusty quick. And when your dust collection system malfunctions, the downtime can cost your plant money. Time to call the professionals at Vans Industrial for help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. At Vans, we work with many different types and sizes of dust collectors, from 1,000 CFM to 100,000 CFM. If your system needs housing repair, tube sheet, pulse valves, ductwork, or collection hoods, give us a call. Schedule an inspection today to keep things running smoothly and avoid costly downtime. And when you're ready for a new dust collector, we can design your system from the collection hoods to the stack for plants of all size applications.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I know a lot of our listeners still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Well, even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to get the support you need, regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. One for you and the other for a loved one or as a holiday gift. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Giza cotton sheets, and more if you use the promo code Amy. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, some harrowing tales of parenting. Amy, I thought I'd share with you.
Yeah.
This comes to us from Houston, Texas. Authorities arrested a man on Friday after he allegedly stabbed his 67-year-old mother to death for not preparing his food.
Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf? Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
Gabrielle.
We want it now!
Gabrielle.
The meatloaf!
Yeah, we got it.
Let him finish yelling.
Don't make him mad, though.
Wait,
Gabriel Pereira, 34, has been charged with murder.
He murdered her?
Stabbed his mother while she was sitting in a chair inside the residence. Deputies say the woman tried to run outside for help but collapsed and died on the sidewalk. According to deputies, the man said he wanted his mother to prepare him some food and that she ran outside after he put a kitchen knife to her throat and cut her.
I mean, that's why it's time to kick the kid out of the house when they become when they're in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe before.
It's also, maybe, right.
Maybe rein that you know what it is? It's hanger. Do you think he'll plead the hanger defense? I was hangry, Your Honor, and she was making me mad, and she didn't have my meatloaf.
Just saying, make sure Peyton and Eli fed.
Oh, I know. Andrew came home yesterday. They worked him so hard at football
Who's
practice.
Andrew?
Oh, I'm sorry, Peyton
Oh.
came home. They worked him so hard at football practice that everybody vomited. And he was really hungry. And he's like, Mom? Because now he sounds like this. Mom, where's the dinner? Is the dinner ready? Yeah, he was. Oh, okay.
You did it. You started it.
The whole team. And I said it was tribal because
the whole team. You're asking
once
for
one
more.
person gets sick, people see that, then everybody gets
Yeah,
you know, it's
we
like
all
the
saw
tribal.
Stand By Me.
Okay.
Yeah, we get it.
No, but it's the tribal instinct because they used to do that back in the day because the food was poisoned. So if one person in the tribe, Elizabeth Warren knows this, and the tribe got sick, everybody got sick.
Okay. All right.
All right. I didn't call the coach. Don't worry. I'm not one of those moms. But if it happens again.
Some other parenting concerns kids were raising.
Is this Dan Proft parenting tips?
Yeah.
Get it ready.
Get the meatloaf ready. And
It's time for Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa! Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa! Tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
you're a child. Keep the kids fed. That's parenting tip number one.
Yeah, please.
The other is to keep the urn with Grandpa's ashes under lock and key away from the kids' reach.
Why?
This comes to us from Sacramento. Excuse me. Police are investigating a disturbing report that a high school student made cookies mixed with human remains and gave them to unknowing classmates to eat.
Oh, that is sick. I mean, did anybody get sick from doing that?
I have not heard of anyone getting sick or anybody being harmed as far as physically or psychologically by this, said a local police lieutenant. Police are working to confirm 2 high school students were part of this morbid plan, but then they're also trying to figure out what they'd be charged with if they
right
do ascertain
tampering with no.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Public nuisance. I'm thinking out loud.
Uh,
Well, they wouldn't be charged with anything. They could get suspended from school. I wonder what they tasted like.
This is horrible. It tastes like cat litter.
I was all out, so I used the coffee that you guys brought. Oh, boy. Buy some other coffee. I apologize.
No. His dad is the coffee. He passed away and his remains were in the kitchen.
It's all organic. Isn't that the big move these days?
Yeah.
Go organic.
Yeah.
Right?
Farm to table.
Yeah, sure. Sofa to table.
Urn to cookie.
He just looked so happy. He was just sitting there.
Why would they do that?
On the Barcalounger a couple of weeks ago, and now he's a delicious dessert.
Remember Borat when he was interviewed? What was it, Barney Frank? And he said, "Oh, those cookies were made with my mother's breast milk." While he was mid-bite, he spits it out.
It's natural.
That's what we do in my country.
It's the circle of life, Simba. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Grandpa, it's what's for dinner.
Grandpa, why would
I could see the
Grandpa want to
marketing
end up
campaign.
in cookies?
Well, no, he probably wanted to be cremated and left alone in his urn, but then you got the hellion that gets a hold of it, and this is what happens. So the parenting tip, 2 parenting tips today to repeat. 1, make sure your kids are fed so they don't stab you. 2, grandma, grandpa, any loved one, the family pet, if you cremate them, put their ashes in an urn, keep it outside of the reach of the scheming kids in your household. All right, you're welcome.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
3 Senate Democrat nominees are in full meltdown. Missouri, Arizona, North Dakota. We'll discuss at 6:06.
And calls for a boycott of a video portraying Melania Trump as a stripper in the Oval Office. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
The Pritzker campaign accused of racial discrimination. Detectives are looking into possible foul play in the disappearance of a local mail carrier. An Inspector General report reveals bad behavior by Chicago city workers. Blackhawks host the Coyotes tomorrow night. The Bulls prepping for the regular season, and a breezy and chilly day ahead. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
He doesn't think there's going to be a blue wave on Election Day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. What makes President Trump so confident?
Whoever's president always seems to lose the midterm, but nobody had an economy like we have.
Fox's John Decker, live at the White House.
With the midterm elections less than 3 weeks away, President Trump, in an interview with the Fox Business Network, said that he won't accept the blame if Republicans lose the House in November.
I mean, I keep hearing about the enthusiasm, the blue wave, but I think we have tremendous enthusiasm.
The president said that he's helping Republican candidates in the midterms by energizing the base. Democrats are hopeful about their chances to recapture the House, while Republicans are increasingly confident they can hold control of the Senate. Dave?
John, the president also took issue again with the Federal Reserve, complaining interest rates are being raised too quickly, and he talked about Saudi Arabia's leaders and the presumed murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
If they knew about it, that would be bad. If they didn't know about it, bad things can happen.
Secretary of State Pompeo, who says Saudi leaders promised him a thorough investigation, has now gone to Turkey, where he's met with the president there, as a Turkish newspaper publishes the details of Khashoggi's torture and killing from an alleged audio recording in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. It's been a week since Hurricane Michael devastated parts of the Florida Panhandle. This woman's home in Port St. Joe was obliterated.
I didn't want to see it. Didn't want to see it. We just hugged each other and cried.
More than 100,000 homes and businesses still without power in the state. In Florida, officials have doubled the number killed, up to 16. 10 more died as Michael moved into Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. They partied like it was New Year's Eve in Canada.
3, 2, 1.
And then at midnight, that store in St. John's, Newfoundland opened to sell marijuana. Canada, the second country to legalize pot. Uruguay, the first. Of course, several U.S. states allow it, too. This is Fox News.
Fair skies this morning, a little warmer than we thought. 45 degrees right now at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. The campaign for Illinois governor candidate J.B. Pritzker accused of racial discrimination and harassment. It was a lawsuit filed yesterday in a Chicago federal courtroom. The suit claims workers are of black and Latino backgrounds are offered no meaningful chance for advancement and receive less favorable treatment than their white counterparts. Mayor Emanuel getting set to run with Chicago police cadets this morning, then will deliver his final budget address today at City Hall. The mayor's 2019 spending plan will not have any tax increases, he says. However, there will be a tax surcharge tacked onto water and sewer bills to pay for underfunded pensions. A quarterly report by Chicago's Office of Inspector General reveals a list of poor behavior by city employees. Transgressions include sexual misconduct, disclosure of sensitive information, and in one case, an employee with the Department of Fleet and Facilities Management was discovered recording inappropriate videos of himself while on duty at a city facility, then sending them to a teen he met on Facebook. Newly released footage shows an off-duty Chicago police officer shooting an unarmed autistic man last year on the far south side. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability released a series of videos yesterday of Sergeant Khalil Muhammad firing from his vehicle at Ricardo Hayes. Hayes was treated and released from the hospital in August of 2017. At that point, the officer was placed on desk duty. The University of Illinois is inching closer to a new mascot. It won't be Chief Illiniwek or anything close to the chief. The school's campus senate voted this week to begin the process of getting a new mascot. Blackhawks host the Coyotes tomorrow night. We could see Corey Crawford on the ice making his season debut. Cody Bellinger singles in the winning run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 13th. Dodgers outlast the Brewers 2-1, Game 4 in L.A. Red Sox beat the Astros last night 8-2 in Game 3 of the ALCS. The news service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a shaky foundation.
Now that there's irrefutable and incontrovertible evidence that it's the highest-ranking members of the FBI and DOJ that are involved in nefarious activities and abuse of power to prevent one person from becoming president, the house of cards is beginning to tumble.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you considering a safe or gun safe to secure your valuables and firearms? If so, before you spend any money on any typical run-of-the-mill safe, check out the amazing handcrafted Rhino Ironworks safes at rhinosafe.com. See for yourself why Rhino Safe customers are so passionate about their antique industrial-style safes. And if you're a gun owner, you'll love the convenience of the swing-out gun rack. Rhino has a huge dealer network, great pricing, warranty, and customer service. So go to rhinosafe.com today. That's rhinosafe.com.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
6:07 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's south side, Ashland is closed. 61st, 63rd. Car hit a light pole. The wire's down. And the road's going to be closed for some time. Algonquin, collision with injuries. Algonquin Road at Sandbloom. Edens looks okay. The Kennedy, running about 22 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. About Eisenhower delay start at Manheim. 37 minutes, 390 to Burn Circle. Outbound 30. Mount Stevenson delays start at Lamont Road. 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 420. Northbound Tri-State traffic, a bit heavy from Reagan Tollway to Eisenhower. Their tollways are okay. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, sunny and breezy. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour with a high 50. Then a clear night tonight. Cold with widespread frost developing after midnight. Low 31. Sunshine for tomorrow. High 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
44 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. How important are the midterms? Very. Impeachment threats from the left, the prospect of more Supreme Court nominees in the final 2 years of President Trump's first term. It matters a lot. Now, Republicans are in a pretty strong position to maintain control of the Senate. That's just a fact based on the data.
Yeah.
But they got to do better than that. They really need to pick up seats because in 2020, you're looking at almost a reversal of the map in terms of the number of incumbent Republicans up versus incumbent Democrats, including in some states that Trump didn't win. So they need to make hay while they have this structural advantage. And so in states where Trump won going away, like North Dakota, like Missouri, Arizona, they can't see seats that were held by a Republican, as in the case in Arizona, or seats that should be held by a Republican, as the case of Missouri and North Dakota, be turned over to Democrats. And the good news is that things are starting to move the direction of McSally in Arizona.
Yeah, because they've been in a tight race so far.
They have. Kramer in North Dakota has stretched out his lead over Heitkamp over the last couple of weeks, and Josh Hawley has moved into the lead in terms of the Real Clear Politics polling average over Claire McCaskill, but that's still a close race. Yesterday, Heitkamp, perhaps desperate times make for desperate mistakes. Boy, she really stepped in it, Heidi Heitkamp.
She did. She wrote an article that was in the paper about women who have suffered, women. She had a whole list of women who signed on to this, allegedly. It was an ad
right.
for her campaign. It's in reference to the Me Too movement. But what she did, she mistakenly identified women as abuse survivors. And some women saw their name on this list and went, I was never sexually abused. I was never the victim of domestic violence. And they're actually the women who are wrongly identified or mistakenly identified are going to get together and possibly file a lawsuit against her.
Well, that's only part of it, because there were also people who listed on this letter in the newspaper that was an ad for her campaign attacking her opponent, Kevin Kramer, the congressman there running against her. There were also women on that list who were abuse victims who didn't want to be outed.
Yeah.
Even worse.
So she identified them without their permission.
I know I'm not the only one hurt by this. I didn't want it to be blasted for the world to see, said Lexi Zarella of Bismarck. I mean, I don't mean to repeat her name, but now it's out there, and she's talking to the press about it. This is what happens when desperate people do things for their own personal political gain. So now you have some women who are domestic violence survivors who are saying, well, I'm not voting for Heidi Heitkamp anymore.
No.
This was desperate or reckless or some combination of the two. But
them.
Well,
and she used
right.
their horrific stories without their permission. They didn't want to be outed. Some of them, not everybody. Everybody probably has a Me Too moment at some point in time in their life, but not everybody wants to talk about it, and especially domestic violence. You want the abuser to know that you're out there and possibly find out where you live. I mean, it was so irresponsible, and she just used them as a political pawn to try and help her campaign or salvage it. But it's backfired.
Heitkamp issued an apology, of course, after she stopped crying still over being forced in good conscience to vote against Kavanaugh. This was more than 100 women, signed this letter, and there have been Facebook posts from at least 3 saying they had not given the campaign permission to use their names, were misidentified as sexual assault survivors, and then, as I said, there were also sexual assault survivors who didn't want their names publicized. That's bad. That's bad, and it's sloppy. It's just incompetence.
And she said, I deeply regret the mistake, blah, 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 and she's going to find out who in her campaign made this mistake, but they're calling up every person on the list to make sure that this doesn't happen again and to apologize.
The other interesting thing in this story, which is underreported because of this egregious error made by Heitkamp and her campaign, is what they were responding to, what Heitkamp was responding to. They were going after Kevin Cramer, the Republican, because he told the New York Times that women in his family, quote, cannot understand this movement towards victimization. They are pioneers of the prairie. They are tough people whose grandparents were tough and great-grandparents were tough. And they took this as somehow dismissive of women who have been abused. Well, that's not what Kevin Cramer's saying at all.
Is.
So
have you been to North or South Dakota or Iowa? I mean, farmers are a sturdy group.
Yeah, but that's not even the point.
They're strong. They are pioneers.
Yeah, but that's not even the point. The point is that the movement toward victimization. That's not to say we don't recognize people who've been victimized, but this idea of celebrating victimization or desiring victimization for political reasons, that's what he's referencing. He's not saying don't believe victims or don't attend to victims or don't provide security for he's not saying any of those things. This is how off the rails this goes, and frankly, it's sort of a lesson that when you want to twist people's words and meaning to something it isn't, you can be hoist by your own petard. He should have been, even if even if this mistake hadn't been made and the women had been misidentified or wrongly outed, Heitkamp's gambit here should have been criticized, but she's in deep bandini.
Deep. Oh, it's done. And, I mean, a lot of them said their privacy was violated, so they've begun to search for a lawyer who can take care of their case.
Well, and Heitkamp was already down, I think, it was nearing double digits on the RCP average. Yeah. So, I mean, Cramer's in a very strong position in that race, so that's a pickup.
Yeah, this was a desperation move that backfired.
Claire McCaskill, she's the incumbent in Missouri. She should have lost last go-round, but, we had that problem with the nominee and his comments on abortion 6 years ago. Well,
that's right.
This time around, she's running against a popular Attorney General in Missouri, Josh Hawley. And Project Veritas is helping Hawley's effort because they got Claire McCaskill undercover talking about how she really thinks about issues like the Second Amendment versus how she pretends what she pretends her views are when she's out on the trail talking to Missourians.
But if we have the kind of year I think we might have, I think we could actually be in a position that we could get votes on this stuff on the floor. And we'd get 60. McConnell knows it. He just doesn't want to put it on the floor because then it goes to the House and then it's awkward because all those House members are total NRA folks.
So you would be on board with the bump stocks?
Of course.
Bump stocks.
Oh, I've voted
high-capacity mags.
I've voted for most of those things before.
For a ban?
Oh, yeah.
But she doesn't, openly go out and support groups like Moms Demand Action or just, other groups that are, related to that because that could hurt, her ability to get elected.
Yeah, so, And that obviously the second voice you heard was one of her staffers talking about how she, is with moms who demand action and other anti-gun groups, anti-Second Amendment groups, John Paul Stevens. But she can't publicly affiliate with them because it could cost her votes in Missouri. So she pretends she's reasonable on gun control. And you see suburban Democrats do that here all the time. I'm reasonable on gun control. It's just bump stocks and high-capacity magazines. No, it's not. No, it's not. They're putting you on, just like Claire McCaskill is putting Missourians on, and good for Project Veritas for getting her and her staff on the record for exactly what she's doing. That should provide a little bump for Josh Hawley in that race.
And here's a shameless plug. If you want to see James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, he'll be at Freedom Summit Chicago, October 27th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. And you can still get tickets. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com.
Yeah, you can give them an attaboy for that little undercover.
freedomsummitchicago.com. You got to get your tickets today.
All right, the last one here,
is
just
close
doing
to
a
our
little bit of a
hearts.
midterm update, close to your heart because you're basically an Arizonan.
I am. That's my second home. And I've met Colonel Martha McSally several times. Love her, want her to be the next senator of Arizona. And she came out with an ad real quick that really buries, I think, her opponent.
Everyone remembers where they were on 9/11. I was deployed to the Middle East, led airstrikes against the Taliban, and was the first woman to fly a fighter jet in combat. I know the price of freedom. While we were in harm's way in uniform, Kyrsten Sinema was protesting us in a pink tutu and denigrating our service. The world is a dangerous place. We need strong leaders who understand the threat and respect our troops. Kyrsten Sinema fails the test. I'm Martha McSally, and I approve this message.
Yeah, and that
Drop mic.
issue spilled over into their most recent debate. And it's not just what McSally has to say here. Kyrsten Sinema, who, by the way, is the only openly bisexual member of Congress. That's not weird. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
I
going on in
know.
Arizona?
She's not a serious person.
Also, listen to her talk and tell me if she
Oh,
doesn't talk like one of the white characters in the movie Get Out. Listen to this. Listen to this exchange between McSally and Sinema.
CNN reported that in 2003, while she was on the radio, you said it was okay for Americans to join the Taliban to fight against us. You said you had no problem
We're
with
running
that.
out of time, but we have to let you respond to that.
I want to ask right now whether you're
Please.
going to apologize to the veterans and me for saying it's okay to commit treason.
We are running out of time, so we got to get a response.
Well, we need a response because she owes us an apology.
Please.
Well, Martha has chosen to run a campaign like the one you're seeing right now, where she's
treason.
engaging in ridiculous attacks and smearing my campaign. And she's just trying to cut, and not share the full picture. But the truth is that I've always fought for Arizona, and I have been proud to serve our state in elected office for over 13 years. Arizonans know me, and they know my record, and I've been honored to fight for them. Martha's trying to make this Senate campaign about me. But what we know is that this campaign is about everyday Arizonans, and I'll fight for them.
Okay. So shut
I
up
mean,
with that.
Stepford doesn't capture it.
That
You
is
should
creepy. No,
watch her deliver it.
Yeah.
It's maniacal. By the way, the underlying issue of which McSally is claiming she committed treason.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit of an overstatement, but it certainly was seditious rhetoric. An interview she gave with a libertarian activist. This is Sinema. She said, the host said to her, as an individual, if I want to go fight in the Taliban army, I go over there and I'm fighting for the Taliban. I'm saying that's a personal decision. Sinema responded, fine, I don't care if you want to do that, go ahead. And no, I don't think so. I don't think, no, that's not a personal decision. That's a personal decision to which personal consequences attach, like you're an enemy combatant, and that is treasonous activity to fight against our servicemen and women, to fight against our country. That's a fact. And so I think those comments do call for more clarification. I'm glad McSally is prosecuting the case against her, and Martha McSally is the perfect candidate to do it because of her military service.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Not my president!
radical protests stormed Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this program. Posted today in our Against the Current series, long-form interviews, my sit-down with the renowned Chicago Tribune columnist John Kass. We do a little midterm preview, local, state, federal races in Illinois, but also with sort of a general national perspective in terms of possible impacts. So you want to hear what John Kass has to say about all of the above, upstream-ideas.com. And then property taxes, it's the issue I suggest informs your vote in those midterm elections in a couple of weeks. Property taxes in Illinois, the highest in the nation, destroying your home equity, government taking your home from you. If you don't care about that, and you don't care about who's on which side of the divide when it comes to changing our property tax system in Illinois, then I don't know what to tell you. If you don't care about the largest investment you're going to make in your life and all that is attendant to making a decision about the purchase of a home and dropping stakes in a community. Free property tax report on your home, defendhomeowners.com. Updated home sales information so you see what the highest property taxes in the nation are doing to home values in this state. Doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter how much your home is. Everybody's taking a beating. defendhomeowners.com. Get the information and share it. The Kass interview, upstream-ideas.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
This stuff is the best stuff I've ever taken. I don't take any medicine. I take nothing. If I get a little scratchy throat or even a headache, I take the vegetables. It works very fast. Or I'm feeling like a little down, tired, I take 3 of them, 4 of them, and I'm right up back to where I was. It's unreal how this stuff works, and I rave about it. This guy's a genius when it comes down to it. If anyone's skeptical about taking something, I get it. There's thousands of products out there. Look, you can be confident in this because the one thing that makes me really, really happy about is that you guys make the capsule out of a plant-based product. It's not crap. It's real food, like you would put on the dinner table.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we're talking midterms, reviewing some of the key Senate races. Take a call here. Mike in Plano, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know, I live out here on the western edge of Chicagoland, out here in Kendall County, and my big thing is we got 2 competitive races out here with Holkern and to my east with Roscom. Now I'm just thinking, is it really at this point even worth defending these guys? Because they've both been in Congress for multiple terms. they're not very aggressive as far as campaigning. I sadly agree with the Democrats that they don't come home and do town halls. And I'm just wondering if it's worth just letting the Democrats have these 2 seats so we can get better candidates in 2 years. And Dan, I think you should be a House candidate in Roscom's district. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Let me just say unequivocally, it is worth defending Roscom and Hultgren. It is worth reelecting them. Understand the Democrats have specific math with the number of seats they need to pick up on each state, each of the states that are relevant to their quest for 23, and they're looking for 2 to 3 from Illinois. So, number one, Roscom and Hultgren are, generally speaking, good votes. Okay, there's some disagreements. The $1 trillion spend bill, bad vote. But Hultgren and Roscom are good votes. The state has enough problems, enough of a complete lack of Republican Party infrastructure and the need to rebuild so much. Adding those seats in the suburbs to that rebuild project doesn't help anything. So, no, you shouldn't cede Roscom and you shouldn't cede Hultgren. No, you shouldn't cede those seats to the Democrats. There's the danger you would cede the House to the Democrats. It could turn on those seats. It could be that close. And also, we just have so much to do in this state, and I think both Roscom and Hultgren can be and will be productive in terms of the rebuild after November 6th. So don't concede those seats. By the way, since we are full midterm, and I know voter fraud doesn't exist for the left. So the reason I bring these stories up is because they refuse to confront something that actually exists, voter fraud. 4 Democrats arrested and charged in a voter fraud ring targeting senior citizens in Tarrant County, so the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
4 people arrested, being indicted on 30 felony counts of voter fraud, according to a statement from the Texas Attorney General's office. They were targeting older voters on the north side in a scheme to generate a large number of mail ballots and then harvest those ballots for specific candidates. This was back in 2016, and they've, after investigation, they've actually moved to indictment to send a message in advance of 2018. This is a real thing, and of course this is a real thing in Cook County and other parts of Illinois too. And so that infrastructure I keep talking about, that's also for ballot integrity programs to interdict fraudulent activities like the Texas Attorney General's office did in the Dallas area. Judicial Watch, their election integrity project, they released a statement just last month. 3.5 million more registered voters than live adults in America. But I know that's not, a incubator for potential voter fraud. The undercover Project Veritas video of Creamy Bob, Calamity Jan Schakowsky's convicted felon husband and his associate in advance of the 2016 presidential election, trying to move people from Illinois to Wisconsin to illegally vote in Wisconsin to help Hillary. So these are real problems. I'm not saying that they determine elections, but they're real problems, and every fraudulent vote cast is disenfranchising an American citizen and their vote. So that's a real issue, and it should be taken seriously. It's not by the left. It is by conservatives, and it should be.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Fascinating op-ed in Vox.com from Matt Iglesias. The left's recognition that 80% of America hates their PC agitprop and how they're trying to bail water now.
And does she have a chance now that Chance the Rapper has endorsed Amara Enya? We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Skies are fair, 45 degrees. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Ankara, Turkey, where he and the Turkish President Erdogan met today. They're discussing the disappearance of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Pompeo traveled to Turkey's capital after meetings with Saudi Arabian leaders in Riyadh.
Made a commitment that they would show the entire world the results of their investigation. They also indicated they would get this done quickly. I don't know the precise timeline, but they indicated that they understood the importance of getting that done in a timely, rapid fashion.
Khashoggi has been a critic of the Saudi government and has not been seen since he went into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul more than 2 weeks ago. Special counsel Robert Mueller reportedly set to release his findings into his investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Bloomberg is reporting that after the midterms, Mueller will issue what are described core findings of the investigation. It's not known if they will be made public. The FBI is on the case this morning investigating the Manhattan DA's office for dropping cases in exchange for cash. Sources tell the Daily News that the FBI has been looking into certain relationships between current and former staff members, private law firms, and outside agencies to determine whether there was undue influence. The Mega Millions jackpot soaring after no one claimed the main prize, $868 million. Cash option, if you're interested, $494 million. People are legally buying marijuana in Canada, U.S.'s northern neighbor, the first G7 nation to fully legalize recreational pot. The campaign for Illinois governor, candidate J.B. Pritzker, being accused of racial discrimination and harassment. The lawsuit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court. Mayor Emanuel delivers his final budget address today at City Hall. Detectives are looking into whether foul play played a factor in the disappearance of a pregnant mail carrier on Chicago's South Side. A joint investigation continues to try and find Kiera Coles. Blackhawks and Coyotes tomorrow night. We may see goalie Corey Crawford back on the ice. Baseball last night. It took 13 for the Dodgers to outlast the Brewers. 2-1 in Game 4 in Los Angeles. Game 3 in Houston. Red Sox were 8-2 winners. The news is a service of Amazon. Amazon is raising the bar on wages beginning November 1st. Pay starts at $15 an hour in the Chicago area. Learn more and apply online at amazon.com/ChicagoJobs. Amazon's an equal opportunity employer. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Automated Systems Incorporated and by Health Insurance Mentors.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
And Susan Michaud from Wheaton's home values are suffering for it.
Our property values are going down because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Metro has delay on the Milwaukee West line again this morning. Signal problems. Eden's inbound delays to Gulf Road. It's 25 minutes. Lake Cook Junction up on 19. Kennedy, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown up on 34. Inbound Eisenhower, 49 minutes. 390 Burn Circle. 35 Manheim up on 36 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 48 minutes from the Tri-State up on 38 minutes to 355. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford, 22. Westbound Tri-State, it's slow. 111th, the Mile Long Bridge. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, breezy, chilly, plenty of sunshine. A high near 50 today, clear and very cold overnight. Likely a hard freeze in some spots. In general, through the city, we'll see a low of 31. 44 at O'Hare, next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Don't miss David Clark and James O'Keefe at Freedom Summit 2018. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. People don't like the PC culture, which is a euphemism, a PC for propaganda, for lie, for falsity, for agitprop. That's what it is. This piece that is getting the left to react to what they have produced. Americans strongly dislike PC culture. We talked about it last week. Let's pick it up again because the quote-unquote reasonable center-left, like Matt Iglesias over at Vox.com, are opining. Sasha Monk writing about this in The Atlantic. Americans strongly dislike PC culture. And here's the thing about the data. Here's what researchers found. White people actually are actually slightly less likely to think that political correctness is a problem than people of color. So all of the euphemisms and redefinition of terms to protect the sensibilities of vulnerable populations, minority populations, guess what? The identified vulnerable minority populations as so decreed by white champagne socialists, they don't like it. Fascinating. Not surprising, though. People who are most likely to see it as a problem are Hispanic or Native Americans. Oh, so
don't tell Elizabeth Warren that.
All the nickname business? Worrying about the nicknames and mascots of college and professional sports teams? That's not improving your life, apparently, say Native Americans. What a shock. In the same way, in terms of age, the very youngest don't like it any better than older people. It's for the millennials, for the snowflakes. No, actually, they're rejecting it too. 80% of the survey universe. So an overwhelming supermajority. On the other hand, if you earn more than $100,000 a year, if you have a postgraduate degree, then you're much more likely to like political correctness. So it's rich, overeducated white people that are the problem, as I've been saying for eons. And because they're given standing in society that they don't deserve based on their income and their educational credentials, they have a disproportionate impact on culture. Think North Shore of Chicago. Think lakefront Champagne socialists. fascinating. And so Iglesias addresses this, and this is, he tries his best to say, I see what people are saying, but for him, what the annoyance of the redefinition of terms and the trying to contemplate everybody's sensitivity and everybody's gender choice identifier. For me, it's deploying Latinx as a gender-neutral alternative to Latino. That's what really upsets Iglesias. That's how he gets annoyed by quote-unquote political correctness.
What do you think of political correctness?
What do you mean, what do I think of it?
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's a lie. It's lying to people. It is propagating a lie about culture, about other human beings. It's Theodore Dalrymple, friend of the show, the great psychologist and author. He had a great riff about political correctness and Soviet propaganda, how they're the same. Theodore Dalrymple, wealthy white guy who's a medical doctor with credentials. So there's some. This may come as a shock when we have to create a safe space for wealthy white champagne socialists because they're the problem. Those they're disproportionately the problem. Not everybody in that space, but they're disproportionately the problem. That's what the survey research suggests. So they intimidate and cower others because they're more likely to be in positions of authority in institutions. And so they induce silence. Here's Theodore Dalrymple. Political correctness is communist propaganda writ small. In my study of communist societies, I came to the conclusion that the purpose of communist propaganda was not to persuade or convince nor to inform, but to humiliate. And therefore, the less it corresponded to reality, the better. All of this made-up nonsense about choosing your gender, choosing your race, making those things, your identifier, what represents your entire being. The repeat, it's intended to humiliate. The less it corresponded to reality, the better. When people are forced to remain silent, when they are being told the most obvious lies, or even worse, when they are forced to repeat the lies themselves, they lose once and for all their sense of probity. To assent to obvious lies is to cooperate with evil, and in some small way to become evil oneself. One's standing to resist anything is thus eroded and even destroyed. A society of emasculated liars is easy to control. I think if you examine political correctness, it has the same effect and is intended to. That's political correctness. That's what the good news is. That's what 80% of the country is viscerally rejecting. They can't put it in the academic terms of Dalrymple, but this is what you need to understand about it. It's not being sensitive. It's not being compassionate or empathetic to one's fellow man. It's propagating lies, obvious lies. The further from reality, the better. And so we get to these places we never thought we would be because a society of emasculated liars is easy to control, as Dalrymple writes. Don't be an emasculated liar. Don't be silent because your boss is an emasculated liar. Don't be silent because your friends are emasculated liars. 80% of the world, of this country, let's keep it here, that's where the research is, agrees with you. They're afraid because they're afraid to be humiliated. And people would rather be physically harmed than publicly humiliated. Most people. Not me, but most people. Don't participate in this. You are the overwhelming majority. Bruce in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Great segment, guys. I hate to come off like Colonel Jack Ripper here or something, but, political correctness is a poison injected directly into the veins of a culture with the evil intent to destroy it. And, real Americans don't care what other people think about it. Real Americans get upset when people try to jam us into little bitty boxes and balkanize us. So, I read that Dalrymple piece, and I thought it was brilliant, because once you're complicit in a lie, you can't call anybody else a liar. And therefore, you have to shut up and just go along with it. The Soviet Union writ this large across 100 million people, and it led to piles of corpses laying in the streets. It's got to be stopped.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, Bruce, and thanks for the Dr. Strangelove reference, too. I appreciate that. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. You've probably heard this quote. I've collected a lot of great political quotes over the years, but let me just repeat this one. Political correctness is a doctrine fostered by the delusional, illogical minority and rapidly promoted by an unscrupulous mainstream media, which holds forth the proposition that it is entirely possible to pick up a piece of, let's say, poop by the clean end.
Yes, right. Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Bob.
I didn't need that so early in the morning.
Yes. Could have just used a Gulliver's Travels reference, but Bob had to take it
It's all right.
to
To the nth degree. Okay.
bathroom humor.
Yeah.
It's all right. John in Palatine. Hey, John.
Hey, Dan and Amy. When you mentioned that the political correctness is promoted or propagated by rich white champagne socialists, I noticed that many of them can be found in academia and school administrations, and that's what's teaching our children. So maybe that's why it continues to persist.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. The only thing I'd say is that it turns out that it's not taking. 80% don't like it. The populations that all of those champagne socialists say they are fighting to represent, empower, and franchise don't like it the most. So why does it continue? Because a society of emasculated liars is easy to control. That's why it continues. The good news is they're not winning the battle for hearts and minds. They're winning the battle of power politics because they've made people afraid and turned them silent. But they're paper tigers in K through 12 education, in academia, the heads of other cultural institutions, cowardly CEOs of big companies. They're paper tigers. We should start treating them as such.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Elizabeth Warren's heritage claim has inflamed Native Americans. A big Japanese bank to pay the United States almost $500 million. Industrial production rising in September. Those stories next.
Imagine a politician saying this today. I have wondered at times what the Ten Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. That's a quote from Ronald Reagan. He showed us through his life, his faith, and with his words that Judeo-Christian values and principles matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan, and you can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other big tech company email address, you help them market their service with every email you send. In return, they scan your emails and target you with unwanted advertising. Thanks to our sponsor, ReaganPrivacy.com, you can instead share the Reagan name with every email you send, and they won't scan your emails. They will leave you alone. Get an email address you'll be proud to own at ReaganPrivacy.com. Your very own personal private email address is available to you at ReaganPrivacy.com. Go get your email address right now at ReaganPrivacy.com.
Senator Elizabeth Warren's release of her DNA test, she says, proves she has Native American blood, and that claim has inflamed actual tribes, including the Cherokee Nation, of which she has suggested she might be part of. No such luck. President Trump has dubbed Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. And the DNA test suggests she's about 1/1000th Native American, a claim ridiculed by Native American tribal leaders. Without admitting any fault in the 2008 financial crisis, Japan's Nomura Bank agreeing to pay almost $500 million to U.S. authorities for selling mortgages that weren't properly underwritten. And industrial production rising for a fourth month in a row during September, the biggest gains coming in mining and manufacturing, and in August, job openings hit a record high, far outpacing a rise in hiring. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Oh, I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, and I also know a lot of listeners are still not sleeping on a MyPillow. Why not? Even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to give you the support you need regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable, dryable, hypoallergenic, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, simply send it back. Go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal. Give one for yourself and give the gift of a good night's sleep to a loved one or as a holiday gift. And you'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers we've been talking about, those pet beds, luxury Giza cotton sheets, pillowcases, and much more. Find it all at MyPillow.com. And when you go to checkout, type Amy in the promo code, and voila, 30% off your entire order. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Do you know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MuellerCPA.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm definitely feeling better because now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy to be able to do more things. Before I couldn't, I was in severe pain with my back and I really couldn't function without taking an ibuprofen. And I haven't had to do that.
The first day energy level was up by about 30%. Stamina was probably up 40%. Alertness was probably 20-25%. Afternoons, I'd get groggy, doggy. Just in 2 days, that is gone.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about standing up to the emasculated liars. An Atlanta firefighter did. The case of Kevin Cochran, remember, he wrote a book, Christian book, Who Told You That You Were Naked, that argued that sex outside of marriage was contrary to God's will. He was suspended by the mayor of Atlanta, then ultimately fired from his job as a firefighter.
I remember that.
Yesterday, the city of Atlanta agreed to pay its former fire chief, actually, Kelvin Cochran, $1.2 million after a court found some of the city's policies that led to his termination were unconstitutional. The government can't force its employees to get its permission before they engage in free speech. It also can't fire them for exercising that First Amendment freedom, causing them to lose both their freedom and their livelihood, said senior counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom, Kevin Thurot, who argued before the court on behalf of Cochran last year. So look what happens when you stand up to the tiny minority of emasculated liars. You strike a blow for yourself and for religious freedom in the process. Good for Kelvin Cochran, indeed.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our conversation with respect to Stormy and Pocahontas and everything in between with Noel Rothman at 7:07.
And the Dow bounces back, the best day since March. We'll get the latest from Stephen Moore. But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
The Pritzker campaign accused of racial discrimination. We'll have the story of detectives looking into possible foul play in the disappearance of a Chicago mail carrier. There's an endorsement in the mayoral race. Chance the Rapper says he is endorsing this person for mayor of Chicago. We'll tell you who. U of I inching closer to a new mascot. Blackhawks hosting the Coyotes tomorrow night. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
He doesn't want Saudi Arabia to get the Brett Kavanaugh treatment. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump says, here we go again, guilty until proven innocent when it comes to the presumed murder of a journalist at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He told Fox Business.
It depends whether or not the king or the crown prince knew about it, in my opinion.
Now, Secretary of State Pompeo says Saudi leaders promised him a thorough investigation. He's now in Turkey. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, the Turkish foreign minister saying he and Mike Pompeo held beneficial and fruitful talks. Pompeo has also met with the Turkish president. This as a newspaper in Turkey publishes what it says are details from an audio recording allegedly capturing Jamal Khashoggi being tortured, killed and dismembered inside the consulate. Saudi Arabia has described allegations along those lines as baseless. Turkey says it hopes police will visit the residence of the top Saudi diplomat in Istanbul today. Dave?
Simon, nearly 3 weeks before the election, President Trump is confident.
We have great poll numbers. We have tremendous turnout at these rallies, thousands and thousands of people, more than we can hold.
And he'll have more rallies later this week in Montana, Arizona, and Nevada. So he tells AP if Democrats are able to win back control of the House, he won't be to blame. A North Carolina state trooper shot and killed just after midnight at a traffic stop near Whiteville. The gunman ran but was caught hours later. A sheriff's deputy's in critical condition in Tennessee after being shot early this morning in Shelby County. The gunman was also shot and is dead. A week after Hurricane Michael hit, still a nightmare for many along the Florida Panhandle.
I'm having issues getting prescriptions refilled because we had them at Tyndall. Tyndall's no longer there.
She's talking about the badly damaged Air Force Base, her home among those destroyed. The storm blamed for 26 deaths. Millions of Americans woke up disappointed. Nobody won the Mega Millions jackpot, which gets even more mega Friday, up to at least $868 million. This is Fox News.
Skies are fair as we approach sunrise at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 45 degrees right now. And the campaign for Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker this morning is facing accusations of racial discrimination and harassment. Lawsuit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court claims the vast majority of Black and Latino campaign workers are herded into race-specific positions with no meaningful chance for advancement. Mayor Emanuel delivers his final budget address today at City Hall. The mayor says his 2019 spending plan will not have any tax increases. However, there will be another installment of a tax surcharge tacked onto water and sewer bills to hike pension payments for those underfunded retirement benefits. Chance the Rapper lending his support to an activist in the race for Chicago's next mayor. The artist endorsed the little-known Amara Enya, a political consultant, yesterday at City Hall.
We ask Chicagoans of all walks of life to join Chance and I over the coming weeks and the coming months as we work on your behalf to create the Chicago that we all deserve.
However, Chance's choice is far different than his father, Ken, who is co-chairman of Tony Preckwinkle's campaign for mayor. The Bulls will have a company logo on their jerseys this season for the first time in franchise history. Those with eagle eyes will be able to see the patch involving Zenni Optical. The deal makes the online eyewear company the first ever jersey patch sponsor of the Bulls. It's a 5-year deal. Bulls begin the regular season tomorrow night on the road against the Sixers. Baseball last night, NLCS Game 4 goes to the Dodgers 2-1-13. ALCS Game 3, Red Sox pound the Astros 8-2. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Charles Equipment Energy Systems and by The Income Store.
Are you considering a safe or gun safe to secure your valuables and firearms? If so, before you spend any money on any typical run-of-the-mill safe, check out the amazing handcrafted Rhino Ironworks safes at rhinosafe.com. See for yourself why Rhino Safe customers are so passionate about their antique industrial-style safes. And if you're a gun owner, you'll love the convenience of the swing-out gun rack. Rhino has a huge dealer network, great pricing, warranty, and customer service. So go to rhinosafe.com today. That's rhinosafe.com.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
Ann Peterson from West Chicago isn't getting her money's worth out of Springfield.
I don't believe that we're getting additional value for the additional taxes that we're paying.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. Politicians waste your money. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes. They've just gotten out of control.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not
authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's south side, eastbound 71st is closed in Cottage Grove and Woodlawn due to a major collision involving a CTA bus. Eden's inbound 31 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, southbound 24. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, heavier in the express, outbound 58 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 29 minutes, side to the merge, Bishop 425. Northbound Tri-State delays, 111th to Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 463rd to Roosevelt, Army Trail to Lake. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy and chilly with a full day of sunshine, high 50, clear and cold. For tonight, there will be a freeze, low 31. Tomorrow, another full day of sunshine, high 55. Then a clear night tomorrow night with a low 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
44 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley. Targeted legal advice for your business. KelleherandBuckley.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. What do we know as of this hour about the disappearance/murder of Saudi journalist, operative Jamal Khashoggi? President Trump weighed in on this yesterday, last night, in an interview with Trish Regan on Fox Business, saying this.
Turkey's looking at it very strongly. We're all looking at it together, but Turkey and Saudi Arabia are looking at it very strongly, and it depends whether or not the king or the crown prince knew about it, in my opinion. Number one, what happened, but whether or not they knew about it. If they knew about it, that would be bad.
And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Turkey just met with the president after yesterday meeting with the crown prince.
Told me they were going to conduct a thorough, complete, transparent investigation. They made a commitment to hold anyone connected to any wrongdoing that may be found accountable for that, whether they are a senior officer or official. They promised accountability.
Including a member of the royal family?
They made no exceptions to who they would hold accountable.
Yeah, I'm sure Ben Salman has somebody in mind to be the fall guy or guys on this matter.
Well, a Turkish official told CNN that his body was cut into pieces after he was killed.
Yeah.
At the Saudi consulate in
There had
Istanbul.
been some suggestion of bone saws and
Yes.
the like in earlier days.
And then they went in, and all the walls were repainted, and then the person they were looking for had fled the country.
It's fascinating to watch the ever evolving context of what allegedly happened. I guess they didn't feel that he was accidentally murdered during an interrogation when he was supposed to be taken back to Riyadh to be murdered. I guess they found that maybe that isn't going to be enough. Maybe we can't sell that. One thing Trump said yesterday, though, that is a bit problematic. I mean, I understand what he's trying to do to keep the Kavanaugh enthusiasm going into November 6th, but he told the Associated Press, I think we have to find out what happened first. Here we go again with, you're guilty until proven innocent. I don't like that. We just went through that with Justice Kavanaugh, and he was innocent all the way around as far as I'm concerned. okay, but I'm not
These are
sure
two
that.
vastly different circumstances.
Yeah, I would say vastly different standards too. For more on this topic, and perhaps we'll even get to Horseface. We're pleased to be joined by Noah Rothman, associate editor for Commentary Magazine, and he will be one of the featured speakers at our Freedom Summit coming up in 10 days.
Yes, it's October 27th at the Westin in Itasca. And if you want tickets, some are sold out. Our premium gold tickets sold out, but we have a limited number of premium silver and economy seats. Just go to freedomsummitchicago.com.
All right, Noah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
So how is Team Trump, Pompeo et al. Handling this issue of the Khashoggi disappearance in your estimation?
Well, I think actually he's gotten kind of a raw deal, believe it or not. He is in an extremely difficult position. A lot of the commentary surrounding how the president has responded in particular to this event has focused on his own personal potential financial interests in the kingdom, of which we know very little about, but he himself talked about how he has financial interest in the kingdom in 2015 on the trail. And because his reaction has diverged from his fellow party members in the Senate, where there is bipartisan agreement that there needs to be some sort of punishment for the kingdom, and I think that's going to happen. But he's been a little bit more reticent to embrace that. And the reality is that any president would be. Yes. Any president of the United States understands, or should understand, or has been informed at least by their advisors of the extent to which America's legitimate national security commitments and interests are maintained by the Saudi kingdom and are intertwined with the interests of the Saudi kingdom. And so it is not the prerogative of Congress to maintain those interests or even be as aware of them as the President of the United States would be. He would be informed by the Pentagon, by the State Department, by the CIA as to what operatives, as to what interests and assets we have in theater and what could be sacrificed if we were to lose those interests. You heard some of that from Marco Rubio recently, who was talking about how cutting off arms sales to Saudi Arabia isn't necessarily going to benefit the United States. It certainly wouldn't punish the kingdom because they would just turn right around and find those weapons from Russia or China, but it would sacrifice a lot of our influence. So the president is kind of walking a tightrope here, and I sympathize with him there. I don't think he's handled it rhetorically well. I don't think he handles many things well rhetorically. But in this case, he has very little choice but to walk a very narrow tightrope.
Well, Saudi Arabian officials say they promise full disclosure, but do you think the Crown Prince knew about this, and could he possibly have ordered the hit?
Yeah, he could have possibly ordered this. I've been reluctant to embrace the whole cult of personality around Mohammed bin Salman. I think he has actually done some pretty remarkable things insofar as he's recognized the reality on the ground in the Middle East in the wake of the Arab Spring and the Iran deal and the shifting nature of geopolitics in the region, such that he's sort of welcomed this thaw in relations between Sunni Arab states and Israel, which has been absolutely remarkable and valuable. But those Americans who have all of a sudden determined that this guy was a social democrat worthy of full integration to the international community has been to me premature. I think we've seen now, as a result of these actions, that is the correct assessment. We don't know whether or not he ordered this personally, but it's hard to believe that there wasn't a chain of command structure here that kept him out of the loop.
It's also hard to believe that this is all about a quote-unquote journalist or op-ed writer who's been critical of the regime, and there's not more at play here. With you're talking about the nephew of Adnan Khashoggi, the infamous arms dealer. You're talking about somebody who reportedly had relationships with senior-level members of the ruling family in Saudi Arabia, had interactions with bin Laden in the first part of this century, that this was more than just an op-ed writer and a critic of the administration. This is the regime. This is somebody who has been an operative in Saudi goings-on for some time, and perhaps there's a bigger, deeper dynamic at play.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's all very speculative at this point. All we know is that this was a guy who who is very critical of a regime that is a dictatorial regime, that is an authoritarian regime, and there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't punish somebody for that kind of behavior. They do that. So I'm disinclined to engage in any sort of broader speculation at this point, when what we know is bad enough, and it's entirely theoretically possible that that's what the simplest explanation here is the real explanation.
So I hate to bring this up, but President Trump did win his defamation case against Stormy Daniels, and they got into a tit for tat on Twitter. He called her a horse face. She called him tiny. What do you make of all this?
He had such a great win here, and he just steps all over it. Mike Avenatti has been soliciting donations from the resistance left for quite some time, and a lot of it went to Stormy Daniels, the Stormy Daniels case. And this week, a judge ordered that Stormy Daniels had to pay the president's legal fees. So all that money that the resistance contributed to Stormy Daniels is going literally into the president of the United States pocket. That would drive them absolutely insane if Trump could keep his mouth shut, if he could just not behave like they expect him to behave, live down to their expectations for 1 minute. But he just can't. I don't understand it. He really had the opportunity here to rub it in their face, and he just made it that much easier for them to not really revel in their defeat.
Well, even the greater opportunity because of Elizabeth Warren's self-immolation and drawing even the criticism of former Obama campaign manager Jim Messina, basically saying, can't Democrats just be disciplined and focus on the chore at hand, which is November 6th, and now Elizabeth Warren's created this sideshow over her Native American ancestry. So even just continuing to focus on that as she doubles and triples down on it seems to me, more akin with what we saw from Senate Democrats during the Kavanaugh hearing of people you just say, I don't want to be with them.
Yeah, and there's also this weird notion that Elizabeth Warren was doing this as a response to Trump. Donald Trump didn't make Elizabeth Warren take a DNA test. The only reason why Elizabeth Warren is taking a DNA test is to get out in front of a story that would look horrible for Democratic primary voters. Democratic primary voters are not as informed about Elizabeth Warren's background as Republican primary voters are. And they might take offense at the notion that this blonde-eyed, blue-haired, alabaster-skinned woman was Harvard Law's, quote, first woman of color in the law department. They're not going to appreciate that. So she had to either get out in front of that story or let Kamala Harris make a big deal of it in the primaries.
Well, yeah, that's right. But how did she do trying to get out in front of it? It seems to me that now she's just informing the left of the same things that the right knew and were critical of her for.
Yeah, I have no idea what she thinks she's doing. She seems to think she's winning this news cycle, and there are quite a few news outlets that appear to be playing this as though this is vindicative and not completely embarrassing. I think it's pretty corrupt on the part of those news outlets that are not treating this as though it's an absolute faceplant. But outside the very small bubble in which Elizabeth Warren and her coterie of admirers in the press inhabit, this looks really bad for her. And her stock is dropping precipitously as a result of her behavior.
So sticking with the Democrats and the Senate for a moment, we also see sort of some other campaigns, key Senate races, the Democrat nominee melting down a little bit. Heidi Heitkamp with the apology she had to issue yesterday. Martha McSally seeming to get the better of her opponent, Sinema, over comments she made about going to fight for the Taliban some 2 decades ago. And even Claire McCaskill caught undercover, as well as her campaign people, by O'Keefe, suggesting that she has one public position on guns and then she has a private position on guns. So some progress there for Republicans, it seems.
So they're all really different situations, but they're really all pointing in the same direction, as you note. So the Claire McCaskill hit is bizarre to me because the video says, this is Claire McCaskill saying she supported an assault weapons ban. Yeah, she voted for an assault weapons ban in 2013. This is really not news. Claire McCaskill is to the left of her state on guns. You can make an issue of that, but it's not exactly lying. So it's a very strange packaging.
But there's the additional interview though of the staffer who says Claire McCaskill doesn't stand with moms who demand action and other groups because it could cost her votes, but she's really with them essentially. So that's a little bit more sort of the disingenuous two-stepping that politicians do.
Sure, that's fair enough. As for Kristen Sinema, she's run an actually very disciplined campaign, and she's still very disciplined. And her voting record is relatively centrist, but she came from a far-left anti-war activist background, and all that opposition research is dropping on her at the very last minute, and it's pretty effective. I'd be shocked if she survives this carpet bombing of opposition research of just demonstrating the things that she said that are so offensive towards her state. By contrast, Heidi Heitkamp just scored a horrible own goal.
Yes.
No one dropped a dime on her.
Right.
She and her staff released this ad that outed a variety of women who were sexual assault victims who did not want to be outed, and they're suing, and she had to apologize, and it's become a giant scandal in her state. And she was already very much in trouble before this happened, but I can't see how she survives it. So yeah, Republicans have been benefiting in a lot of ways. Some of them more fortuitous than others, but yes, in the Senate, things are cutting their way. And I would love to see a poll of a state that isn't Texas. We've had so many polls of Texas, all of them showing Ted Cruz doing well. We have no polls in Missouri or Indiana or North Dakota or half the states where Democrats are defending territory, and things have definitely changed in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, good point. Noah Rothman, associate editor for Commentary Magazine. His latest column is on Elizabeth Warren, identity theft, and you see him October 27th at our Freedom Summit in Itasca. Noah Rothman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And to get tickets, go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on helping couples in their late 50s to early 60s retire with confidence. So, Bill, what is the biggest challenge that you see successful couples face when planning for retirement?
Mike, I sat down with a couple yesterday morning and I asked them that specific question. What do you feel your biggest challenge is getting ready for retirement? And in a heartbeat, the wife said to me, how am I going to pay my bills every month? My husband's going to stop working at some point. His paycheck's going to be gone. How do we pay our bills for the rest of our lives? And it's a long time. We could be in retirement 20, 25, or 30 years. And Mike, when you think about it, 20, 25 to 30 years without a paycheck is kind of like being unemployed. And folks, that's the really big deal in retirement. Where do you get the income from to supplement your Social Security? So you have the confidence that you're going to be able to pay your bills each month, knowing how you're going to keep up your lifestyle, knowing how you're going to feel comfortable and you can do fun things like go on trips and vacations and so on.
For 20 to 30 years, the rest of your life, and maybe leave a little bit for your family too. So, Bill, how do we create this income?
Mike, we find when we look at couples' portfolios, most people have way too much at risk, way too much on the growth side. You simply take some of that growth portfolio, and Mike, we do this all the time. You take part of the growth portfolio and you create an income strategy with it. And that income strategy is designed to create dependable, sustainable income that couples can count on for the rest of their life. Mike, let's do something special for the next 5 callers who call in who have at least $500,000 in their portfolio. We're going to sit down with them personally on a complimentary basis and help them put together a full-blown plan for their retirement, a plan for how they're going to create dependable, sustainable income that they can count on for the rest of their lives and how they can retire with confidence.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Pat Boone again, and I've never before endorsed a pain relief product of any kind until now, until Relief Factor. My wife is thrilled because of her neck and shoulder pain, and let's face it, almost everybody over 50 has occasional aches and pains due to aging or exercise, and the 3-week quick start is now discounted to only $19.95. It's 100% drug-free, and the majority of people who order it go on to order more. Let's see if we can get you out of pain too. Go to ReliefFactor.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and Julian Assange, you know, the WikiLeaks founder.
Yeah, he's still, living in the Ecuadorian consulate
in London.
In London, yeah. Even though the charges against him from Sweden have been dropped, by the way.
Last 6 years, yeah. Well, there's other governments that are interested in him.
Particularly U.S. government he's fearful of.
Including ours, that's correct. Now, he's in a bit of trouble. I guess for 6 years he's sort of been de facto grounded. He grounded himself, but now he's drawn the ire of Ecuadorian officials because he hasn't been keeping his bathroom clean and he hasn't been taking care of his cat. And they said, if you don't clean up the bathroom and take care of your cat,
we're going to kick you out?
Yeah, you're going to have to leave.
Well, every house mom has rules, and if you don't follow the rules, you got to go. So the deal was he had kept the kitty litter in the bathroom, and I guess he's just been letting the kitty litter grounds.
But the pedestrian problems of, an international dark web leaker boy. Hey, Mr. Leaker Man.
Your cat's leaking on the floor, and we need this to stop.
You may be a big shot on the internet, but around here, you got to hold up your end. You got to do your chores. Reportedly, the Ecuadorians are also threatening to take away his smartphone and not let him play video games. That's the next level of punishment. Because, it escalates.
Seriously?
No, I'm making that up.
Oh, okay. Because that's, but they've given him the ultimate feline ultimatum, if you know what I mean. I don't know if they're going to kick the cat out. Cat's cute. Have you seen a picture of it? It's a speckled gray-white tabby.
Oh, boy.
But they did want him to.
If I was living in the embassy.
They want him to avoid political activity online.
The cat?
No, him.
Oh.
And they want him to feed the cat and clean up after the cat.
If I was living with Julian Assange and that cat that we're hearing, which I presume is his, because we try to be authentic here, one of them would have to go.
Which one are you going to choose? Because, I'd take the cat.
I just love this story.
I know.
Clean up the bathroom and take care of your cat, or you have to go. Actually, I'm kind of sympathetic to Ecuador's position, giving them 6 years in the embassy and preventing him from being imprisoned in the U.S. or somewhere else. That's a pretty good deal if you just have to keep the bathroom clean and take care of the cat. That's not a bad deal.
Question is, what's the cat's name?
What would Kanye think about that?
What would
I wonder.
Kanye? Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk a little bit of economics with Steve Moore, chief economist for CNN, Wall Street Journal columnist. Is Trump right that the strong economy should carry Republicans through the midterms? That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Skies are fair. We have 45 degrees at 7:30, and here in Chicago, there's quite an accident scene developing at 71st and Cottage Grove. Multiple ambulances called to that scene after a bus was involved in an accident. Several serious injuries. We'll keep our eyes on that and the traffic ramifications, too, with Jim Talamonte in just a moment. Over 1,000 are still missing after Hurricane Michael. Category 4 hurricane left a trail of destruction in the Florida Panhandle last week. The death toll is currently officially at 29, but more than 1,100 are still unaccounted for. Authorities hope the missing are alive and in hard-to-reach places or with family and friends elsewhere in Florida or around the country. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Turkey to discuss the disappearance of a Saudi journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. With Turkish President Erdogan, Pompeo went to Ankara after meeting with Saudi leaders.
They said it would be a thorough, complete, and transparent investigation. We'll all see the results of that. They made a commitment that they would show the entire world the results of their investigation.
Trade, healthcare, and other issues are also on the table as Pompeo goes to Ankara. That Washington Post columnist was a critic of the Saudi government and has not been seen since he went into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul over 2 weeks ago. Politically, the midterms in a microcosm. Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz battled last night. Exchanges of jabs all night long in a major televised debate in San Antonio. At one point, O'Rourke even borrowed from President Trump's debate playbook.
Senator Cruz is not going to be honest with you. He's going to make up positions and votes that I've never held or have ever taken. He's dishonest. It's why the president called him Lying Ted, and it's why the nickname stuck, because it's true.
Trade, health care, abortion among the issues debated by the U.S. Senate candidates. Cruz claimed Texans don't share O'Rourke's extremist views. This morning, President Trump heaped praise on Ted Cruz for his performance. Mega Millions jackpot is soaring after no one claimed the main prize Tuesday, $868 million, up for grabs in the next drawing Friday night. The campaign for Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker is being accused of racial discrimination and harassment. It's a suit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court. Mayor Emanuel will deliver his final budget address today at City Hall. The mayor's spending plan, he says, will not have any tax increases, but another installment of a tax on water and sewer bills will go up. The surcharge will be used to fill an underfunded pension hole. Blackhawks host the Coyotes tomorrow night. Goalie Corey Crawford could make his season debut. The Bulls begin the regular season tomorrow night on the road in Philly. Baseball last night. In the 13th, the Dodgers, Cody Bellinger singles in the game-winning run over the Brewers. It's a 2-1 win. Game 4 was in Los Angeles last night. While the Red Sox are now a couple of wins away from the World Series, they beat the Astros 8-2 in Game 3 of the ALCS. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains why the left keeps attacking Kavanaugh.
An unprecedented smear of a good man. The normal rules of civility do not guide the left. They are governed by what they feel is necessary to achieve their ends. They break eggs to make left-wing omelets.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia, I have nerve damage and fatigue, I have thalassemia, I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing it's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
7:36 and a check of your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
South side eastbound 71st is closed at Cottage Grove after a crash involving a CTA bus. A light pulled down. There are injuries. Orland Park, Wolf is closed. In Southwest Highway 167th crash. Edens runs 23 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose to Kennedy, an hour and 18 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 46 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 42 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 38 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop, Ford, 45. Westbound Tri-State delays. 111th, 31st, Roosevelt to Balmoral. Traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, a breezy and chilly day ahead. Plenty of sunshine, though, high 50. 42 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, it's his most popular song ever. This to me is noise. This is not talent. I mean, he is philanthropic. He has given millions of dollars to CPS and other
Well, that's a waste of money.
organizations.
Yeah,
in
he's
Chicago.
no Rob Bass.
But that's not. Is that talent? Am I just getting old? Because that gives me a headache.
It takes two to maybe go right. That's rap.
Banana. It takes two to make it out of sight.
See? Huh?
Ow! I want to rock right now.
Okay,
My
I'm sorry.
name-
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
Wait.
I apologize to the
Am I
listeners.
done?
No, you're done.
I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious.
All right. So who's worse, Amy or Chance?
I'm not a winner, no, not a loser. Being MC is what I choose.
I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Chance the Rapper press conference yesterday with the big reveal as to who he's supporting for mayor of the city of Chicago. It's this West Side activist you've never heard of named
Okay.
Amaya Enya.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to come
Enya was
out.
a musical act too.
Sail away, sail away.
Oh, gosh, I need to stop making these references. It just encourages you.
Yeah, but he made the big announcement because a lot of us thought he was going to announce that he may be running for mayor, but that's not the case.
But I'd like to say very narcissistically, if I back you, you have a chance, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and there's a question. It depends what you back her with. And the question was asked about money, and he's taking that under advisement. But there was something that he said about Chicago politics and about politics generally in this state, I would add, that I thought was actually spot on. Remember, this is not a dumb kid.
No.
He went to Jones Prep. He comes from a successful family. His dad worked for Harold Washington. Now, ironically, his dad's with Preckwinkle's campaign.
Yeah, and he addressed that too. We can get to that later.
But he made an important statement here that should, I hope, does resonate for people that look to Chance the Rapper for guidance. Frankly, this is something that everybody should listen to because most of the electorate falls prey to exactly what Chance said here.
Chicago politics is about people knowing what's possible. Everybody becomes a political analyst all of a sudden when it's election time. Nobody wants to vote for who should be mayor. Everybody wants to vote for who could be mayor. It's always about people's chances of becoming mayor rather than what they plan to change when they do become mayor.
I'm going to take credit for that. I mean, Chance must be a fan of mine. Didn't even know it because I've been saying for many, many moons to Republicans in particular, since that's the party to which I affiliate, stop being political prognosticators. Here's who's going to win. This person has all the money. This person has the endorsements. This person is this. This is what we.
They know how City Hall runs. You got this person.
This is what's going to happen.
Yes, I love that. This is what's going to happen.
Right. Everybody's a political prognosticator, and it's a cop-out because I'm just going to predict what will happen so I don't have to act in furtherance of what I think should happen. It's part of the free rider problem you have in politics. And I'll tell you what, I tip my hat to Chance the Rapper for making that point to the assembled Chicago press corps and, frankly, to the city. They're a lot more likely to listen to Chance the Rapper than they are me. But he is exactly right. Stop falling prey to just going along with what you think is going to happen and act in furtherance of what you think should happen with elections and everything else. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I don't know if that makes you any more interested in Amaya Enya's campaign, but it makes me more interested in Chance.
Yeah, it makes me, I respect what he had to say, but why her? She's in charge of the Chamber of Commerce in the Austin community, and that's what we knew about her yesterday.
Chance reached out. He'd been a fan for a while. I'd been a fan of his for a while. So it was just one of those circumstances where you keep your head down, you do the work, magic happens, and we take it and we run with it.
Yeah. And quickly, you mentioned money. I mean, her quarterly report, she has just $67.50 cash on hand for her campaign. So, Chance, are you going to pony up some cash?
I haven't yet, but we'll see. I got a lot of money, so it would be scary.
Yeah,
but yesterday's announcement, that was free advertisement for her.
Make it scary.
Yeah.
Make it scary, Chance, rather than giving CPS $1 million to fritter away, trying to, throwing bad money after bad money in CPS with nothing attached to it that changes the trajectory of that school system. Go ahead. Put some money behind it. Make it interesting. Because here's what I see Chance doing, and I don't know him, but you get a sense of him from what he had to say because it was interesting. I think like these sort of men and women of always, I don't think he's down with that. And this is where it could be. I wish there were ways to get to Chance the Rapper to kind of square him away policy-wise. And so he got beyond just regurgitating words like equity and opportunity that have been stripped of meaning through overuse and misapplication, because he's directionally correct. I think he's saying, like what Maze Jackson says at VON when he calls Toni Preckwinkle Queen Sugar. These men and women of always, including forever black politicians, well, how's it been going for us?
Right.
What's the upside with sticking with this? We know what we're going to get. We know who they are. It's time to turn the page and usher in a new generation and a new attitude with respect to our political representation. And I think that's where Chance is going, and that's why he picks this woman out of obscurity. I don't know anything about her, so I mean, we'll try and get her on the show so we can have a conversation with her. But I like that. I absolutely like that. I mean, who else is running? 70-year-old Bill Daley, 70-year-old Toni Preckwinkle. Yep. I mean, with due respect, 65-year-old Paul Vallis. Names and people that have been around forever and who have played their part in making Chicago one of the most unsafe cities, the worst city financially in terms of stability in the country, and by extension have made Illinois the worst governed state in American history. So I'm sorry, why should we continue re-upping and moving these people up the political food chain?
Well,
I think he's implicitly asking those questions.
And what Chance the Rapper and Amara are going to do is they're going to go out and get young Democrats to register to vote. That's what,
John.
Well, that's
stupid.
I don't know if that's stupid, and which was strange too. His
Everybody's.
dad.
I mean,
well, that's
registering to vote. This is so. look, if you can't figure out how to register to vote, if you're not motivated enough to register to vote, the idea that there's this great reservoir of unregistered voters who are just waiting to be activated is absurd. This is pablum from both parties. The way that you move the needle is by appealing to those who are engaged at some basic level. So stop with your register to vote, rock the vote bromides. It's idiocy. This is what I'm talking about. I wish I could get to these guys and turn them in a direction where they could actually maximize the popularity they enjoy and Chance's money for that matter.
Well, I mean, when I was in my young 40s, I have to tell you, I got a group of women who I knew were never registered to vote because their husbands did it for them on behalf of the family. I said, no, you need your own voice and your own choice. And I had the group of, well, I'm just saying, I mean, they didn't know any better, all right? So Chance's dad, though, works for Toni Preckwinkle, which I find he's in charge of her campaign. And he said, that's not a problem, come Thanksgiving.
As far as my dad goes, that's my family. And at the end of the day, I'm always going to love my dad. I'm going to always rock with my dad. But that has nothing to do with what I see as the future of Chicago.
Yeah, so what? So his dad and him disagree. So what?
Well, is that going to take black African-American votes away from Toni Preckwinkle? If Chance the Rapper is supporting this Amara woman?
Probably. So what?
I mean, well, is that a guarantee a Paul Vallis win or a Bill Daley win?
No.
Okay.
And first of all, why do we also ascribe to their this concept? Let's bring the city together. Let's unify the city. You know what we need to do? We need to unify the city. We need to come together, city, to solve our problems together. This is the rhetoric. And then the rhetoric during campaign time, we have to have our Latino candidate, and then we have to have our black candidate. Now we need a white Irish candidate. We have to have this box checked, and we have to have that box checked.
What about a Polish candidate?
Reconcile that for me. Unify the city, come together, solve big problems together, but we have to run in our lanes. Black, white, Latino, Irish, etc. How does that make any sense? Black candidate this. Does this take black votes away from some? Who cares? I mean, the Toni Preckwinkle is a very soft front runner. Very soft. And you got 5 or 6 candidates bunched up between probably, I'm guessing, some of the polling and extrapolating from it, low to mid 20s to mid to high teens. And Vallis will be in the conversation, and Daley is going to be in the conversation, and Preckwinkle is going to be in the conversation. Do you want anybody else in the conversation? That's the question. Maybe Chico, maybe Susana Mendoza when she wins her comptroller's race and then runs for mayor. Oh, there we go. We got our Latina candidate. We have our Latino candidate. We've got our black woman candidate. We've got a black. So stupid. When do we get off of this hamster wheel? Because is it working? Are you happy with the direction of Chicago, of Illinois? And this is to the left in particular. If you're not, then why are you tripling down on everything that's been done to bring us to this point? I mean, it's just, you understand why people throw up their hands. Because it is so dumb. It is so anti-intellectual. It is so everybody is spare parts to keep the men and women of always and their sycophants well fed. So tiresome. Elevate the conversation. Chance the Rapper did yesterday, actually. Shockingly. It's true. I mean, in terms of anybody with profile in the city that's had anything to say, including the mayoral candidates, what Chance the Rapper said yesterday just in that clip about being acting in furtherance of what you think should happen rather than just being a handicapper who's going to go with whatever people say is going to happen. That's done more, hopefully, to shake people out of their doldrums than anything any politician has said. And including Paul Vallis, who's at the City Club this week. I mean, Paul's the only adult in the race right now. Yeah. And I don't know that I know because I don't know this Miss Enya that Chance the Rapper endorsed. So I'm open-minded on the topic, very open-minded on the topic because I'm not happy with anybody. Vallas goes to the City Club.
Right, to reveal his budget.
I mean, I get he's a green eye shades guy, and he's producing specific proposals, and I respect that. And he knows city government like nobody else in the race does. That's not even in question.
Right.
But then he proposes $250 million in additional property tax increase over the next 5 years, with another phony baloney cap to follow. That does nothing to provide the kind of property tax relief and foment the kind of property tax restructuring that is required to give people's homes back to them in this city and state. I mean, I'm just not impressed with what Paul Vallas proposed. I'm glad it's specific, but now I've got real problems with the specifics. Ralph in Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Yeah, Emmanuel is leaving quite the tiny tutu to be filled by his successor. And the candidates that I see so far are such an impressive, lackluster bunch of know-nothings and do-nothings. I think it's not as vigorously pursued because I think everybody knows that Chicago is financially wrecked. And other than finding some way to just wipe out a whole bunch of debt and screw the debtors, it's just not screw the creditors. It's just not going to be possible for them to make their payments, daily.
Yeah, right. And you know what you should do? You know what?
$1 billion.
Yeah, you know what a Republican should do? I mean, or center right candidate or somebody.
I mean, a real one.
Yeah, a real one, or I don't care. It could be somebody on the center left, and I'd support it.
Or a fake one. Okay, somebody's trying.
Go to say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick it to the bondholders. We're going to stick it to the people that continue to feed the addiction of Chicago, and provide them.
Unless somebody feels the pain, it will continue.
Correct, and provide them access to continue to borrow against tomorrow to pay for 3 decades ago. You're going to take it on the chin. All you big Wall Street bond houses, as well as the attendant bond counsels and law firms. That's right. Stick it.
Yep.
You're going to get left holding back. You made a big bet. That's fine. There's risk associated with it. Guess what? Your bet's not paying off.
Sometimes you lose.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer on Target Radio is back on AM 560. Every Sunday night at 9, Dave Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz discuss the red meat issues that affect your life. The Second Amendment, personal liberty, government intrusion. They'll also bring you the latest from the Washington and Springfield swamps on Target Radio. Sunday nights at 9. Sponsored in part by Safer USA, a leader in firearms education and training. Hackett Equipment, makers of the finest gun range carrying bags. And Geekometrics, experts in data security.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The dismal TV drones are missing something important in handicapping the midterms. They obsess about how narrow are the GOP congressional majorities without considering the supermajorities Republicans enjoy in state houses and governor's mansions across the country. That's called political infrastructure, and it matters. Local political officials and operatives have credibility with voters and thus turnout capacity that can't be bought with Michael Bloomberg's millions. Federal races are not national elections, they're local ones. Just as local races can be federalized, so can federal races be localized. Popular Republican governors with Republican legislative majorities matter too. That's good news for key Senate and House races in Arizona, Florida, Indiana, Nevada, North Dakota, Tennessee, and Texas. The state and local Republicans in these states are popular because they've made choices in advance of economic liberty that have improved the vitality of life for their constituents. As a report earlier this year by the American Legislative Exchange Council found, it's not complicated. I suspect voters in these states may elect to continue to keep it simple on November 6th by sticking with what's working.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Radical protests storm Washington. Far-left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
We are just weeks away from the midterm election. It's all about showing up. Your tax savings are literally on the ballot. The American economy is on the ballot. America's great comeback is on the ballot. Our jobs, our kids' jobs, wages, 401ks, all on the ballot. Here's the biggest issue on the ballot. Who's in charge of America's future? Politicians and bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., or you? If you want to preserve the victories of the last 2 years, continue this kind of great economic news that we're just celebrating today, I want you to go to taxcutswork.com. We make it so easy for you to do your part, to make phone calls, to send emails, texts, knock on doors, take a neighbor to the polls. Go to taxcutswork.com. The only way we lose in 2018, the only way we lose in November is if we don't show up, if we don't turn out. Do your part. Let's not get outworked by the left and the Democrats in November. Go to taxcutswork.com, taxcutswork.com.
This is Sebastian Gorka, former strategist of Donald J. Trump. Under President Trump, American leadership is being restored, but that doesn't mean our enemies have disappeared. In my new book, Why We Fight, Defeating America's Enemies with No Apologies, we take off the blinders of political correctness from the Obama years and learn how we can vanquish enemies without mortal combat.
Sebastian Gorka's new book, Why We Fight, is available now from Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Grisly details of murder in print. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A Turkish newspaper has published what is purported to be the torture and killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, getting the details from an alleged audio recording of it. Secretary of State Pompeo's in Turkey for talks after going to Saudi Arabia.
They made a commitment that they would show the entire world the results of their investigation.
And President Trump told AP he doesn't want to rush to judgment.
He compared the rush to condemn the Saudis over this missing, most likely murdered journalist to the sexual assault accusations against Justice Kavanaugh. He said, quote, "Here we go again with, you're guilty until proven innocent." I don't like that. We just went through that with Justice Kavanaugh, and he was innocent all the way as far as I'm concerned. So we have to find out what happened.
Fox's Kristen Fisher. The president tweeted to the AP as fake news that a headline was different from his quote and meaning in the story. He didn't say what story, but one answer making news was that if Democrats win back control of the House, he won't be to blame. Now, the president also took a shot at the guy who used to be known as his fixer. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
In an interview with the AP, President Trump said that his former lawyer Michael Cohen was lying when he testified that the president directed him to break the law. Cohen, who pleaded guilty in August to 8 criminal counts, said under oath that the president directed him to make payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels as part of a non-disclosure agreement. That payment violated federal law. The president told the AP that Cohen's claim was totally false and said Cohen was merely a PR person who did small legal work for the Trump Organization. Dave?
John, 2 law enforcement officers were shot after midnight. A North Carolina state trooper was killed at a traffic stop by a suspect now in custody. A sheriff's deputy in Tennessee is in critical condition. That gunman was also shot and killed. High times in Canada.
End of prohibition for alcohol, pretty much for cannabis, right? So it's just something that you want to be able to tell your kids that you were there for this moment.
He was among the first marijuana buyers when pot became legal. This is Fox News.
Fair skies at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. The campaign for Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker is being accused of racial discrimination and harassment. It's a lawsuit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court. The suit also says the workers are offered no meaningful chance for advancement and receive less than favorable treatment than white counterparts. Mayor Emanuel will deliver his final budget address today at Chicago's City Hall. The mayor's 2019 spending plan, according to the mayor, will not have any tax increases, but there will be another tax surcharge tacked on to water and sewer bills to try and fill the hole created by underfunded pensions. The trial for a man charged in a pipe bomb explosion at a post office in northwest Indiana has been pushed back until June. Final pretrial hearing for 46-year-old Eric Krieg is now set for May 17th of next year. A quarterly report by the Chicago office of the Inspector General reveals a list of poor behavior by city employees. Transgressions include sexual misconduct, criminal theft, and in one case, an employee with the Department of Fleet and Facilities Management discovered recording inappropriate videos of himself while on duty at a city facility and sending them to a teen he met on Facebook. Detectives continue to look into whether foul play played a factor in the disappearance of a pregnant mail carrier on Chicago's South Side. Chicago Police and the Postal Inspection Unit are combining to launch a joint investigation to find Kiera Coles. Blackhawks and Coyotes tomorrow night. We may see goalie Corey Crawford in the net. Bulls begin the regular season tomorrow night on the road against the Sixers. 8:03, it's time for AM 560's Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, you'll pay more to lock in a mortgage this week, and the higher rates are cutting into the home financing business. The Mortgage Bankers Association says its average for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage rose to 5.1% last week, the highest average in 8 years. The number of weekly mortgage applications declined more than 7%. Netflix business was much stronger than expected in the summer quarter, up more than 4.5%. It signed up 7 million new subscribers, expects to add an additional 9 million more by the end of the year. U.S. Bancorp is reporting stronger than expected earnings. However, IBM's earnings are weighing on investors. Its software, sales, and cloud business were both disappointing. The Dow added 547 points yesterday. The Nasdaq up 214. The S&P gained 59. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
The following is a paid political announcement.
You've heard Joe Donnelly talk about outsourcing.
It's unpatriotic, it's shameful, and it's un-American.
But Donnelly made up to $80,000 from his family business that outsourced jobs to Mexico. and paid workers just $3 an hour. Now there's more. Not only did the business outsource jobs to Mexico, Donnelly's family business also imported products from China. 120,000 pounds of Chinese shipments. And Donnelly's trying to deceive Hoosiers about his outsourcing profits. He claims.
And I haven't worked there in over 20 years.
But Donnelly's own financial disclosure form shows that he profited from the outsourcing just 2 years ago. Exporting jobs to Mexico, importing products from China. Joe Donnelly is a hypocrite. Say no to Mexico Joe. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Are you considering a safe or gun safe to secure your valuables and firearms? If so, before you spend any money on any typical run-of-the-mill safe, check out the amazing handcrafted Rhino Ironworks safes at rhinosafe.com. See for yourself why Rhino Safe customers are so passionate about their antique industrial-style safes. And if you're a gun owner, you'll love the convenience of the swing-out gun rack. Rhino has a huge dealer network, great pricing, warranty, and customer service. So go to rhinosafe.com today. That's rhinosafe.com.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
It's 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Tri-State southbound traffic is stop and go 21 to Bradley Road and northbound from 111th to 31st at Roosevelt to Balmoral. Eastbound Adams Tollway to Mass 59 to before Roselle Road. A crash has 2 center lanes blocked. On Reagan Tollway delays from the Aurora Toll to 355. Veterans Memorial southbound slope, the Army Trail Toll to 22nd, northbound Fountain most of the way to St. Charles, and the Army Trail Toll to 290, southbound 53 delays off Northwest Highway to Higgins. Edens is 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose to Kennedy, an hour and 9 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson an hour 13, 355 to the drive. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today sunny and breezy, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour with a high 50. Then a clear night tonight, cold with widespread frost developing after midnight, low 31. Sunshine for tomorrow, high 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
42 at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Dan and Amy, and so much focus the last couple of days on Elizabeth Warren's hoax as it pertains to his ancestry. The punchline that's become Elizabeth Warren, Harvard Law professor, first tenured woman of color at Harvard Law.
Blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, women of color.
But that's not the biggest hoax that's been exposed recently. And this has gotten some coverage, but not the coverage it deserves. Because it speaks to the saw that Mitch Daniels likes to use with respect to Purdue and just higher education. It's not where you go to college, it's how you go to college.
Oh.
That's right. I think that's generally right. Yep. And so we always focus on the brand names, the actual universities or college. How about we focus on what you do while you're there? Like, what are you studying?
Right.
Because if you're studying grievance in the grievance space, then you're wasting your time no matter how good the overarching brand is. And this is what was exposed. This is a sort of Sokol hoax, Sokol hoax redux. Alan Sokol was a physics professor at NYU, and about 20 years ago, in the mid-90s, he did what these three enterprising researchers did recently to expose the intellectual nonsense of so much of what goes on in the humanities. The three cohorts, Helen Pluckrose, James Lindsay, and Peter Boghossian, they published an article. This is about a week ago now. I've been trying to get to this for a while. Academic Grievance Studies and the Corruption of Scholarship. Here's what they did. In a space of 10 months, they dashed off 20 spoof articles and submitted them to established journals in the fields of cultural studies, identity studies, and critical theory. They were intentionally outlandish and frankly depraved in material ways. For example, some of their papers. Human reactions to rape culture and queer performativity at dog parks in Portland, Oregon. That was a research topic and a paper they just created.
What was that again?
Human reactions to rape culture and queer performativity at dog parks in Portland, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Published. How about this?
Well, let me process that for a second.
A study involving thematic analysis of table dialogue at Hooters to discover why heterosexual men like to eat at Hooters. Published in one of these journals, academic journals.
That's a good one. I'd like to read that, actually.
Another piece, feminist social work title, Our Struggle is My Struggle. Excuse me, Freudian slip. Our Struggle is My Struggle. And it scattered up-to-date jargon into passages lifted from Mein Kampf. Published.
Oh, my gosh.
This is great. Here, another one.
Okay.
This is the Portland, Oregon, just to drill down that, because I saw you were piqued. Your interest is piqued by the dog park.
The dog park and about the rape culture, what I can learn about it, dog parks.
Here are the questions Dr. Wilson, quote unquote, the pseudonym used to publish this paper, asked to set up the paper. How do human comparisons manage, contribute, and respond to violence in dogs? How do human companions manage, contribute, and respond to violence in dogs? What issues surround queer performativity and human reaction to homosexual sex between and among dogs? Do dogs suffer depression based on perceived gender?
Okay.
The goal of the article...
I don't think they know that there's opposite genders except for,
Well, that's sort of the point, isn't it?
Right.
The goal of the article was to, quote, suggest practical applications that disrupt hegemonic masculinities in dogs. The proposal was to train men like we do dogs to prevent rape culture. Published. Not kidding. These stories published. All of these idiotic stories, completely made up of whole cloth. There's no underlying scholarship in the areas of cultural studies, identity studies, and critical theory, race studies, and postmodernism and intersectionality, all published in these, academic journals that hold themselves out to be these paragons of serious scholarship. Fraud, hoax. The hoax isn't what these people who came up with these 20 ridiculous ideas to get them published. That's not the hoax. The hoax is the academic areas of study that they've exposed. The hoax is what's going on in college campuses in the humanities. That's the hoax. So don't tell me your kid is going to Yale or Northwestern or Stanford or Illinois State or U of I or wherever. Tell me what your kid is studying. And that's what you should be thinking about. Because these areas of study and that unfortunately infect so much of the humanities, the serious aspects of the humanities, this is a fraud. It's a fraud on you. It's a fraud on your kid. It's a waste of your money. So snap out of it and stop looking at brand names. Otherwise, you go to Colorado State and your kid receives 10 ways to make your social media channels more inclusive, instruction on the use of emojis and pronouns at Colorado State. That's what you want your kid to obsess about when he or she is spending their 4 years to get an undergraduate degree to go on to. I mean, if your kid, because the point is that the converse is true too. If your kid is studying quantum mechanics, then you don't even have to tell me where he's going to school. If your kid is studying computer science, learning to be a coder, then you don't have to tell me where she's going to school. That's what you should be thinking about. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Want to see if we have sort of an expert in our listening audience with respect to this topic about uncovering the mystery of why heterosexual men like to eat at Hooters. So I'd like to take his input. Sean from Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, the real reason I called is I wanted to explain to you what this queer productivity is. You know what they used to call that in the 80s, don't you, Prof? Breakdancing with your parachute pants on cardboard. And you got a doctorate in it. That's what it is.
That was volunteer, though. That was a volunteer avocation. I didn't have to take out loans to finance it. That's the difference. Speaking of that, there are good examples, too, and we like to highlight the good examples of colleges because we need to find somewhere for Peyton and Eli to attend.
Exactly.
So Hillsdale College, we've talked about, University of Dallas, Wyoming Catholic, Thomas Aquinas, Ave Maria, Claremont McKenna.
Locally in Elgin, the school we just went to.
Judson University.
The Eagles.
Wheaton College. Here's another small Christian college. This is one you probably never heard of either. Berea College in Kentucky.
Never heard of it.
Well, there you go. Founded in 1892 by a Presbyterian minister who was an abolitionist. It was the first integrated coeducational college in the South.
Really?
Every student on campus works. Its labor program is like work study on steroids, no tuition. They have not charged tuition since 1892.
Since when?
1892. Has not charged students tuition since 1892. Berea College in Kentucky. Yeah. Christian college. More than 90% of Berea College students are eligible to receive Pell Grants, which is often a proxy for low income, right? Because 70% of the students that attend Berea are from nearby Appalachia, one of the poorest areas in the country. At 20% below the poverty line in Appalachia. And so the recruiting pipeline into Appalachia produces a pretty diverse class. 40% of the student body identify as racial minorities. Interesting. And 45% of the graduates come out of Berea College with no debt. The ones who do have an average of less than $7,000 in debt. So I'm just, hey, how you go, not where you go. So you should consider checking out. I would have if I would have known back in my day, some of these small colleges that don't have the profile but are doing innovative things. We talked about College of the Ozarks, too.
Oh, right.
Same kind of thing. You work as well as study. It's a requirement. You want to prepare kids for post-college? You think Berea College, College of the Ozarks, schools like that are on the right track? Or you think these kind of hoity-toity PC propaganda-infected universities like the one I went to, Northwestern, at $60,000 a year is the way to go? Daniel in Algonquin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. You're right, this whole thing is a fraud, and I call it the Church of the Holy Grievance, because basically the bet is if you have a grievance that you can justify anything, so anything goes, and that's just corrosive to any kind of society or norms.
Yeah, and it's corrosive to the intellectual development and future of your kids, too. Oh, by the way. Thanks, Daniel.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
And Susan Michaud from Wheaton's home values are suffering for it.
Our property values are going down because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Imagine your son after a year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive and committed to making good choices, doing the right thing because they are right and because he's strong enough? Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois. Their academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventure of boyhood. Hallfest, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make it a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent school for boys grades 6 through 12. They produce men with the ability to think for themselves. Graduates go to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model. 50% of faculty attended a top 20 university. So don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. Learn more. #1 coming up at 8:38. We're going to have Neil Fagan, the headmaster for Northridge Prep, so he'll tell you more. But you can also register online at northridgeprep.org. Get more information on their open house this Sunday, October 21st, northridgeprep.org.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Fortino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Turnkey IT, you know, they're the experts in computer networks and all things IT. That's right. They're Turnkey IT. And they know that the IT department is a vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware and software to hiring and managing, it can be costly and time-consuming, but there is a solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. That's $10,000 a year. Turnkey IT's all-in small business package includes world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more, plus new hardware every 4 years. Again, where can you hire a reliable, highly capable employee for less than $100K per year? Well, you don't have to with Turnkey IT. From 1 person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable. With Turnkey IT, you run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Not my president! Not my president!
Radical protests storm Washington. Far left extremists demanding their way or the highway.
And you don't give power to an angry left-wing mob.
Standing with them, Senator Joe Donnelly. Donnelly says he's one of us, yet time after time he stands with them. Voting against Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. Voting against President Trump's historic tax cuts. And Donnelly claims to be full of common sense. But he voted for the reckless nuclear deal with Iran that makes us less safe. Senator Donnelly, he just isn't who he says he is. Mike Braun is a political outsider, job creator, and doer. Mike Braun's one of us. He'll help President Trump make the tax cuts permanent, and he'll vote to confirm conservative judges like Brett Kavanaugh. On Election Day, stand with Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this interesting interaction between a Columbus, Ohio police officer and two young men is generating a lot of conversation online.
Yeah, it's gone viral. It happened over the weekend when Officer Peter Casuccio drew his weapon and he approached two young boys. One's 11, one's 13 years old. They were in Columbus, Ohio, and they had a gun, what appeared to be a gun, in their waistband.
Here's the thing. Are you scared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know why you should be scared? This is getting kids killed all over the country.
And he's referencing the weapon, which he told them to place on the ground.
How old are you, boy?
11 years old.
How old are you, young man?
13.
Do you think I want to shoot an 11-year-old? Do you think I want to shoot a 13-year-old? Do I honestly look like the type of dude that wants to shoot anybody?
Yes, sir.
But do I look like the type of dude that will shoot somebody?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And he's being criticized for being too harsh on these kids, but
Are you
he had a
kidding me?
split second. He had a split second to show restraint in the encounter, and he said that he went into dad mode. That's why he didn't fire his weapon. He used it as a moment to teach the 11-year-old and the 13-year-old a lesson. These two are African American. He's Caucasian.
As soon as I stepped out of the car, a young male wearing a gray jumpsuit with red stripes pulled what would appear to be a gun out of his waistband and threw it off to the ground. I pride myself being a pretty bad hombre, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I gotta be.
Yes, sir.
Don't make me. It's a millisecond, and you see the gun leaving his hand, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw it bust into a million pieces once it hit the sidewalk. That's when I realized it was a BB gun. I could have killed you. I want you to think about that tonight when you go to bed. You could be gone. Everything you want to do in this life could have been over.
But that's the thing, that he said you could be gone.
Yeah.
And I think, it was harsh rhetoric because he does need to teach young men a lesson. I mean, think of what happened to Tamir Rice in Cleveland. He was a 12-year-old kid. He pulled out one of those fake, 9mm guns with the orange, tip at the end, and he was shot by a Cleveland police officer by accident. But the police officer thought it was a real gun. I mean, a lot of these guns. I remember when I brought in the 9mm that I had, the air gun. Were you here for that? And didn't it look like a real 9mm?
Yeah, I mean, particularly in a moment, in a flash, if you brandish a weapon, the officer, it's a teachable moment. I mean, do you think I want to shoot an 11-year-old, trying to impress that upon the kid? Both kids that were there. 13-year-old mothers arrived at the scene, took him home. The 11-year-old began to walk home. The officer gave him a ride home.
Good.
And so, how do you
This guy should be hailed a hero.
How do you get,
Well, no, I thought what he did was heroic. And he served nearly a decade in active reserve duty in the U.S. Coast Guard as an officer, and I just think what he did should be highlighted and go viral as a lesson to kids, because my kids, they take their air guns out, and I always tell them, if it's getting dark out, if you see a police officer, you can't do that. They might shoot you because they might mistake that for a real weapon.
Well, there's no doubt that this was a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment for the kids. It's also a teachable moment about police, including in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think any cop goes out wanting to shoot an 11-year-old kid, a 13-year-old kid, any kid? No, of course not. And so these difficult judgment calls, thankfully, he saw enough quick enough that nobody was injured, and he could have this conversation with the kids, and hopefully they learn the lesson. They don't put themselves in harm's way like that ever again. So there's a number of teachable moments here, which is nice.
Also, speaking of shootings, New York City did not have one shooting.
First time in 25 years.
Yeah.
Weekend.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if that happened here?
It
Do you think that
be.
would ever happen here? They didn't have a shooting from Thursday till Monday.
If it can happen in New York, then obviously it could happen here. So I guess it's sort of up to us to decide if we're willing to do the things to make it happen here.
We would have a parade if it happened here, don't you think? Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Neil Fagan, another shaper of young men. He's the headmaster at Northridge Prep. They got their open house this Sunday, October 21st. That discussion happens at 8:38.
And bye-bye, Bell. Awake is planned for Wrigleyville Taco Bell as we say goodbye to a staple in the community. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Yeah, Mike's going. What are you going to wear to the wake? Here's Mike Scott.
A hat. I'll wear a hat. I promise. It'll be cold. I got to cover my bald head. I'll wear a hat. 42 degrees and cloudy skies right now. We expect sunshine through much of this day. And we're following breaking news. First Lady Melania Trump's plane is back at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Smoke detected on that plane. The Air Force jet turned around a few minutes after takeoff, made an emergency landing. No injuries reported. First Lady was headed to an event in Philadelphia to promote her Be Best campaign. We'll keep our eyes on that story for you. Special Counsel Robert Mueller is reportedly set to release his findings into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Bloomberg is reporting that after next month's midterm elections, Mueller will issue core findings into that investigation. It is unknown if those core findings will be made public. It's now legal to buy recreational marijuana in Canada. The law went into effect at midnight in each of Canada's time zones. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary and San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro is not waiting until after the midterms. He says he likely will run for president in 2020. Castro made the comments in a Rolling Stone interview. Governor Greg Abbott is issuing a disaster declaration for much of Texas after deadly amounts of rain have pounded the state. NBC's Kerry Sanders is at the heart of that downpour.
More than a foot in 24 hours, and this morning it is still raining. At one point along the Llano River, the floodwaters rose in 24 hours a remarkable 34-plus feet.
The disaster declaration is for 18 counties where heavy flooding caused extensive damage. Kerr, McMullen, LaSalle counties, among others. The campaign for Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker is being accused of racial discrimination and harassment. Suit filed yesterday in Chicago federal court. Mayor Emanuel will deliver his final budget address today at City Hall. The mayor's 2019 spending plan, according to the mayor, won't have any tax increases, but there is another installment of a tax surcharge tacked on to Chicago water and sewer bills to fill a hole created by an underfunded pension program. Blackhawks will host the Coyotes tomorrow night. We may see goalie Corey Crawford make his season debut. Baseball last night, NLCS Game 4 goes to the Dodgers, 2-1. ALCS Game 3 goes to the Astros over the Red Sox, 8-2. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the left has no limits.
Those who are kind to the cruel will be cruel to the kind. That is a motto of our dear fellow citizens of the left, because that's all it takes is a favorable word, a mere vote for Republican, and you're pro-rape. You understand how sick it has become? There are no moral limits to what they will do or say.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Comb-overs, hats, remembering to shave your head. It doesn't matter what you try. Hair loss isn't pretty. That's why Chicago football icon Brian Urlacher, known for his bald head, decided to tackle balding with Restore. Thanks to Restore's breakthrough one-day procedure, being more attractive, confident, and looking younger has never been easier. You'll spend the day playing on your tablet while healthy hair is relocated from the back of your head to the balding areas. Listen to Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher talk about his experience with Restore.
Once I got my consultation at Restore, the decision was easy. People can't believe that it's my hair. It's an amazing experience for me, and I owe it all to Restore.
Restore has helped thousands of men regrow their own hair. Now through October 26th, see what you could look like with a full head of hair with a free 3D hair analysis. Plus $500 off when you call 800-262-1212. That's 800-262-1212 for your free 3D hair analysis. Plus $500 off, but only until October 26th. Call now. 800-262-1212.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My husband and I sold this business. We got a little chunk of change and wanted to invest it in some rental properties. Happened to find two at once. Was going to use my local bank and then a friend of a friend who has a mortgage company. Come to find out that they couldn't do anything for me. Ira made it seem simple. Ira knew I was needing a second mortgage. She said, Doris, give me 8 days and I can get both of these closings done for you. And that's exactly what he did.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:36. Let's get a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
South side eastbound 71st remains closed. Cottage Grove, Woodlawn after a bus crash. Told that 21 people have suffered injuries. Edens, 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 38. Kennedy, hour and 9 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 39 minutes from Montrose, 35 in the Express, outbound 53 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour 22, direct Stoll at 83. Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 52 minutes. Lyon, 34 minutes, 95 to downtown. Eastbound Reagan, tollway heavy Farnsworth, Wyola, and Winfield, 355. The other tollways are heavy as well. Northwest Indiana looks fine. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, breezy, chilly, plenty of sunshine, high near 50 today. The sunshine should be back. We have clouds right now. 42 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
See Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe at Freedom Summit 2018. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Dan and Amy, we were talking about academic fraud in our Campus Beat segment at the top of the hour. How you go to school, not just where you go to school.
What classes you take?
Yeah, areas of study you pursue. Tom in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey guys, I'm in route to the Evanston campus. I'm a student at Northwestern.
Turn around.
I thought it was
turn around. De-enroll.
I'm too much in debt. I can't. Anyway, I was interested when you said something about the Northwestern. The media propaganda has changed the dynamics here. What did you mean by that? I was kind of curious. I mean, is it because it seems like it's a lot more liberal here? I thought this was a conservative campus when I first came here.
No, you're at the wrong campus then. When I was there in the early 90s, I mean, I got out in 94.
Okay.
You're so young.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, really.
How have I maintained this youthful exuberance, you ask? I understand. No, that place is a totalitarian re-education camp at $60,000 a year. Well, I don't have to tell you the price. No.
Yeah.
That is way left. Back in the day when Arnie Weber was president, at least you had somebody who respected true true scholarship and academic freedom on campus. That's not the case anymore. That place is, with some exceptions, of course, that place is just an incubator for Champagne socialism. That's what it is.
Well,
so no,
it's
it's always
because
it's been that way for a long time. Certainly from my time forward, and of course I was sort of there at the ascent of political correctness, which is to say, communist propaganda.
Well, I took an intro to. I won't bring up the actual class because I don't want to get blackballed here. But if the person's listening, however, I took a religions class, and they brought up white privilege in that class.
Right.
And I was pretty pissed off. Excuse me. I was pretty upset because that's not what I took this class for.
Yes, Northwestern grads say upset. We don't use that vulgar language. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Well, Tom, this is what we were talking about, which is to say the grievance studies infect the rest of the humanities. And this is what, like, the National Association of Scholars have been talking about for decades. And this is why we want to inform parents and students so they make better choices in terms of where to spend their educational dollar, because you're buying a brand, and I get it, and, you can go to the football games, and there's a lot of Northwestern grads in positions of power, and so you feel like that's a networking opportunity, and so on and so forth. I get it, but you can make your own way if you work hard and do things right, even if you don't have a marquee name on your resume in terms of your college. That goes back to the how you go, not where you go.
I heard that University of Chicago is still pretty conservative. Would you agree or no?
No, I would not.
Absolutely
not.
No.
I mean,
they have some conservative minds, but it's mostly flaming liberals.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it. Good luck at school.
Have fun today.
Yeah.
I hope you brought your lunch money.
You make friends there.
You be
nice.
nice.
No, actually, don't make friends there. University of Chicago, this is what passes for, like, conservative academic freedom. They had a statement about free speech on campus, and people, like, lose their minds how wonderful this is. That is the baseline. That is not setting a lofty standard. What University of Chicago has done to defend free speech and freedom of expression on campus and academic freedom is the smallest of baby steps that you should expect from a university administrator, person interested in intellectual pursuits, when it comes to a challenge to academic freedom or free speech on campus, free thought on campus. Which is the perfect segue to our next guest, Neil Fagan, who's the headmaster at Northridge Prep, which is this private school, grades 6 through 12 in Niles, because, this conversation we're having about higher ed, we're now having about K through 12. So for more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Neil Fagan. Neil, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Dan, Amy, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Morning. So, you've sort of at Northridge Prep charted a different course than not only public K through 12 or 6 through 12, as your school is, institutions, but other private schools as well. Just kind of explain the mission focus of Northridge Prep.
Yeah, it's we're focused on building men. When we look at our education and how we design it, we're focused very much not just on what happens to the boys when they leave here and go into college, but really the kind of men they're going to become 10 years after that, once they're married and they have a family. And so with that goal in mind, everything we do is structured to build them into kind of great fathers and great husbands and good friends. So it's an all-male education. The teachers we hire are more than great in the classroom. That's very important, but role models. A place where boys can be boys. They've got an energy that needs to have an outlet that's very constructive, where play is good. And so there's a number of things that we do that way to help build men, not just great minds, but great characters as well.
What's your enrollment and graduation rate?
Enrollment is, the total school is 300. It varies class to class, 30 to 60 boys. Like in this middle school, it's smaller. Graduation rate is, 99%, and 99% of them will go on to college. If you go straight into the military and other things.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive Amy. She's used to asking questions about Chicago public schools, so
What's your math proficiency?
Yeah, she has to ask about.
Is it in the double digits?
Graduation rates. That's like asking. What percentage of the kids at Bennett go to college?
Okay, you know what? I don't live in that world. I am involved
I know
in
you.
CPS.
Well, you send your kids to a high school named after a band from the 70s.
No, it's not the Allman Brothers. It's
Oh.
Amundsen.
No, all right.
Okay, some
Yeah.
Norwegian Swedish explorer.
So Neil, talk a little bit about the curriculum at Northridge Prep and
books.
Yes. Do you have books? Do you have teachers?
Yeah,
Do you-
yeah, no.
What's the literacy rate at Northridge Prep?
Clean water.
Oh God. All right, please. Sorry for the tangent.
No. Yeah, actually, it's funny you ask about books. We're very much against the whole iPad and laptop in every classroom for every period. It honestly, to me, it just flies in the face of common sense, and the studies, the research is out there, the data is out there. That it doesn't work. For many reasons. Obviously, distraction is the most obvious one, but purely just from a learning perspective, like the studies show, like reading a book, a tangible piece of paper in your hand, you learn better than reading the same content from a screen. And then when you add in the distractions and so forth, it's just not a prudent move. And I think over time schools will shift back to the pen and paper. But beyond that, certainly for boys, and this is a great thing about having being single gender, and there's many reasons we could have a whole hour on that. But boys in particular need to learn to be organized. And so we have a very structured study skills approach built into every class in the middle school up through 9th grade, where we focus on things like, just bringing your books home, writing down your homework, and then more importantly, learning how to study for a test and so forth. So that's an important aspect to our curriculum beyond the fact that it's a great books, liberal arts curriculum. We do a lot of history and a lot of writing, a lot of reading and literature.
The interesting thing, too, I know from both talking to you as well as talking to families who send their sons there to Northridge Prep, is that it's a family affair in the sense that when a student applies to Northridge Prep, the interview is not just with the student, but with the family. Why?
Yes, and that's because parents really are the primary educators of the children. We view ourselves as really secondary. And I think for a school to be successful, you need a partnership with the parents. And I think every school is, but we're very deliberate about that. And so when we accept a student, it's not so much that we're accepting Johnny. We're accepting the family. We want to make sure that the parents are on board with our view of education, which is that, hey, we're going to work together. And that takes a lot of different kind of aspects or manifestations. So we meet with parents in advisory relationship. Every student has an advisor, a faculty mentor they meet with regularly, at least once a month, usually more often. And that advisor will meet with the parents and talk through Johnny and what are the parents seeing, what is his strengths and weaknesses. We expect parents to work with the teachers, and the teachers will communicate with them quite regularly.
Now you mentioned that. Yeah. Oh yeah, you mentioned that you create strong men, good family men, community men. How do you do that? What's so different? What makes Northridge Prep different from other schools?
Well, I think a lot of schools try to do this and will do it well. One key area that I think is often overlooked is the fact that when boys are going through middle and high school, especially grades 7 through 12, they are actively looking for men that can show them what it means to be a man. Because being a man is something every boy wants to be, but it's not something that you're just born with. You have to be taught. You have to learn it. And so boys, they know that. Every boy knows it. Every boy goes through this. And they're looking at other men to say, do I want to be like this guy or not? They're looking at men and judging them and saying, I want to be like that guy. I don't want to be like that other one. And we have an all-male faculty primarily actually for that reason. We want to give them role models that they look at and say, wow, I want to be like that guy. If you look at our teachers, if there's one reason that you'd come to Northridge, I think it's the men who are teaching your sons. They're great in the classroom, but beyond that, they're just attractive, great human beings that your son will like. And it's a really special part of Northridge. And not just the fact they're great teachers, but then we have this really cool atmosphere where the teachers become friends of the boys in a way that's good, right? It's not peer-to-peer. It's definitely a friendship of unequals, but there's a very real affection that the boys feel from the teachers that has a huge impact on them. And so that example and that relationship allows the teachers then to kind of delve deep into the boys and say, hey, you're not working hard. Like, you got to step it up. And then where the boys say, wow, that guy, he's fun. I want to be like him when I grow up.
That's why Neil Fagan had me address the student assembly at Northridge Prep, Amy,
Right.
is because he wanted to show the bad example so that
Oh,
boys
right.
can tell the difference
No,
between
no,
their
no, yeah,
teachers and people like me on the radio. So this is the path you don't want to go down. And then, also, the other thing that's important is extracurricular activities, particularly small high schools. Sometimes parents are worried, well, is it just going to be academics, and I want my kid to be well-rounded and have a wide array of experiences. And, I mean, it's important to note that your athletic director, Will Ray, former Division I basketball coach for Loyola, and so the other offerings that Northridge Prep has that round out young man's experience.
Yeah, right. No, we're really lucky and blessed to have Will. He's a phenomenal coach, from the X's and O's perspective, but beyond that, he's built a whole program, not just in basketball where he's the head coach, but in all the other sports. That it is very much character focused. And actually, what's interesting is, like, you win games from that. I mean, the boys, the grit they show, the tenacity to come from behind, it's awesome to see, and they do it year after year, and a lot of that's from Will. But, yeah, you're right. The extracurriculars is important, and it's because that through those activities, boys get a chance to have responsibility and actually lead and learn, all the life skills that come from that. And so we do have a number of sports. I think we have 8 different sports. It's a very robust program. Like, we win conference. We do well in state tournaments. It's a good athletic program. Arts. We've got robotics. I lead an entrepreneurship club. We've got 4 different little incubator startups going. So it's something we really encourage. And actually, we designed the schedule to allow boys to be in clubs as well as play sports. It's something we really focus on.
And parents are also interested in the leadership of the school. That's you, the headmaster. And so your story of how you came to Northridge Prep, I think, is important.
It's, I think for many careers, you never would have planned it. I certainly would have planned it. I was working for 5 years at Harley-Davidson in the corporate office and loved it. It's a great company, and I was really blessed to be there. I'd started off as a teacher right out of college for 2 years and then got into business and had no plans of leaving. But one of the board members called me up and said, hey, what would you think about being headmaster? And totally took me by surprise. But, just the mission of the school, and, prayed about it for a few weeks and said, you know what? I mean, the amount of good you can do, I really don't think there's much more important work right now than building young men and young women for society. And it's a great opportunity. So I'm really blessed and really glad I'm here.
All right. He is Neil Fagan. He's the headmaster at Northridge Prep in Niles. They have their open house October 21st for prospective families. If you're looking for a school to consider for your young man, Amy, then you should go to that open house. Neil, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and Amy, thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Fall is here, and so are those weekend cleanup projects. It's also the perfect opportunity to get organized with StoreLock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. StoreLock makes it easy and simple. It's fully assembled when it ships, so you can get organized fast. Durable StoreLock Modular Systems are built the old-fashioned way, made to order, exactly how you want it. Order your custom system that's powder-coated in-house in any color you want. They're 100% crafted in the USA, feature dividers, liners, and layouts, all made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Store-Lock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Store-Lock fits any home or business and will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. Order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call 1-800-STORE-LOCK. That's 1-800-STORLOC. And check out StoreLock.com for upcoming events.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Get out your scorecards. We are less than 2 weeks away from Freedom Summit 2018. What are you going to wear, Dan? Huh?
I haven't decided.
You haven't decided? All right. Well, if you haven't gotten
Something
your tickets.
revealing.
Something
alluring.
Something that reflects your personality.
Yeah.
And your demeanor.
Yeah. Potato sack.
Potato sack. They could be hot if you belt it right. So premium gold tickets are sold out, but we have a limited number of premium silver and economy tickets still available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. This year's event is presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement experts, and it's coming Saturday, October 27th, a week from this Saturday at the Westin, Chicago, Northwest, and Itasca. Keynote speakers include former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, Heather McDonald, who you'll be doing a sit-down with, I believe, Saturday morning.
Oh, that'll be fun.
She's the author, she's the author of The War on Cops. Mike Gallagher, Kurt Schlichter, name assassinator.
Mike Gallagher sort of rocks those mom jeans.
Yeah, and
he's got a little bit of Obama in him in that sense.
Stop it. And Noah Rothman will be there, along with both of us and Joe Walsh. So again, go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to the one and only Justin Kosick, our technical producer, Quinn McCarthy, our associate producer, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5 a.m. Now let's get into the newsroom, see what the latest is on Melania Trump's plane. Here is Mike Scott.
Everyone appears to be safe after smoke was detected on the First Lady's plane. It's back safe at Joint Base Andrews. More from Fox in just a moment. An Inspector General report reveals bad behavior by Chicago's city workers. Blackhawks getting set to host the Coyotes tomorrow night in a breezy and chilly day ahead. WIND Chicago.